Hey guys, just getting the minutes here from the latest Fed meeting. Not much of a reaction from the overall market. A little bit of a downtick overall. It looks like basically the decision was unanimous across the board to hold rates once again. They're going to continue to monitor ongoing economic conditions and data. I mean, a lot of this looking like everything we've seen in the past, nothing new that I can tell. I'll keep an eye out for further comments to come through. But again, Fed minutes just coming out there. A little bit of a downtick here for the overall market, about 0.25% from the S&P to the downside. Again, there we go. 0.25% to the downside here for the S&P 500. Not much of a reaction overall. We are starting actually to head back to the upside. That's the cues. The NASDAQ stuck within a range as well. It's been a bit of a mixed day overall for the market. About half and half here, about the opposite as well of what we saw this time yesterday afternoon. There was a lot of tech coming from, There was a lot of strength, I should say, coming from tech. Not the case today, the exact opposite pretty much. Microsoft leading the way here, 1.4%. Bloomberg reporting during lunchtime that negotiations are still underway between Sam Altman and the board of OpenAI, trying to bring him back as CEO. No resolution as far as I can tell as of yet. We'll keep an eye out for anything further that comes from it. I want to point out these two down here, AMD and Intel, 3% almost there for Intel, AMD 2.5%, Qualcomm as well, NVIDIA, AVGO, and Apple, all red. Amazon 1.7% to the downside, but there's enough strength here trying to offset the overall move in the market. Yeah, gold back above 2,000 as well. Everyone waiting for these minutes from the latest Fed meeting again. Not much of a reaction here. We're actually heading back to the upside for the overall market. Decision was unanimous. They're going to continue monitoring data. I mean, pretty much everything we've seen in the past. Frank Caberna coming up here in about 45 minutes. We'll get his take on these comments from going back to November 1st. Remember, the last meeting was November 1st. We'll get another one going into December. It's still at 100%. If you go to the CME Fed Funds tool, it's still 100% that nothing is going to change as far as interest rates going into at least March of next year. So it's not going to be a matter of if or when now that the cuts start coming. I mean, if you missed it this morning, we got some inflation data in this country that fell further or more than expected once again. So it looks like things are still heading in the right direction. If you were with us again in the pre-market, Microsoft was top of the list here. We were opening basically where we ended the day yesterday, pretty flat to start, but it's been a bit of a grind with the overall markets. Again, the last or latest headlines on this Sam Altman, OpenAI stuff. Bloomberg reporting during lunchtime that the two sides still in talks for a potential return. Satya Nadella saying either way, he supports not only OpenAI, but Sam Altman. So we'll see what the resolution is here, guys.
I was waiting for you to say a return of the Mac there. I mean, opportunities sometimes go a little wasted over there, but it was all kinds of movement just now as you got to look, the minutes being released, everyone has to comb through them and get updates and all that good stuff. But simultaneously, you guys know 500 came in on NVIDIA, right? So anyone that didn't know, you probably just joined, or you hadn't been following the market, or you hadn't been looking at NVIDIA for some reason. We left you saying 500, which was the break yesterday, resistance, support this morning early. Now it looks like resistance. It just pegged it almost to the penny, pulled right back in a bucket, is now retesting. I got some out when it came back that through that 99 level. Short in front. Let's see if it can hold. I was just in Palantir on a reload in front of 20, and 20 broke to the upside in Palantir, so I'm out of that. You probably saw that come in, and then I'm still unplugged from this morning. But wow, it's been a bit of a battle in this market to get back to the upside. 16,000's what's on watch right now. So shorts in front of 16K. Well, I mean, if you want to, but that's been the resistance level, 16,000 on the NASDAQ. That's what we're dealing with as we get into these post-Fed minutes.
Yeah, we just reloaded again right there. What's up to Y Brothers, which is everybody there. We just reloaded as Neil was talking again up there. We did get stopped out. It broke 500. We got stopped out immediately, but we're back in now immediately as we've been trying to short up in here. We've been doing fine. It's just it broke one time. So we'll put some shorts back on there. We just got an 80 out 30s. Let's see if it can continue to bleed down. Welcome back, guys. It should be a fun afternoon. We're still here. We're ready to rock and roll. Thanks for the midday show. Thanks for all that kind of stuff going on. So yeah, look, we're excited. We're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for NVIDIA to fall back even further. Looking at 498.50, something like that. Here we go. Let's go. Bring it back in. Here's $1 right now. Good amount of shares here. So we're pretty happy with it. We got lots to discuss today. So let's go over to the desk and get ready to rock and roll. It's gonna be a good one.
As far as these minutes are concerned, all members agreed that continuing their policy would remain with restrictive rates, and they all agreed that they were at a restrictive enough rate at the current point. So that's one. Two, again, the same language again, all participants agreed decisions at every meeting going forward would continue to be based on the totality of incoming information. So everything that we've heard in the past from those Fed minutes. So as a result, the market here not really reacting too much. There was a bit of a volume spike, but overall, we're just hanging out where we were. Yeah, let's talk about Zoom. That was a little more exciting than the reaction from the market right now this morning. Coming off earnings from ZM, a little bit of a beat. I mean, a little bit of a beat to say the least, but it was a little bit of a surprise, I guess was the word I'm trying to find. As far as the forecast is concerned, we had a whole bunch of analysts coming out reiterating their mostly positive ratings on this stock.
Yeah, Breno, they beat on the top and bottom line. Revenue grew 3.2% year over year. Enterprise revenue up 7.5% year over year. And it's been a story of trying to diversify their offerings, right? Like we all know them for the interactive software that we use to have meetings, but they want to be known for more than that. They want to get into contact centers, webinars, chat, email, and they're launching new AI tools. Breno and I were talking about this morning on the morning show, where when you have meetings, the AI will summarize it for you and present to you in a text document so you can search it.
Yeah.
So lots of new tools coming out.
Yeah, I mean, Bard does that, ChatGPT does that, so it's, yeah, I mean, they're offering the same things. And yeah, I mean, you and I were talking about it, I think we were all making the same point in that Google makes it so easy to use Google Meets, and there's so many other alternatives when it comes to just the pure meeting aspect of Zoom that might have accounted for some of that move back to the downside after the initial pop yesterday for earnings.
Zoom, and sometimes, look, I had an idea for a short trade. It happened like right away at the open. I think if you were sitting in it in the pre-market or just took it right off the bat, congratulations to you. For me, it wasn't the first place I was at 9:30, which is going to happen. You pick the one or two names you want right at 9:30, so I missed that first move. But at least I was able to get out of the way of this because it gave me a second opportunity in here. Let me zoom in. Second opportunity, short the same level in front of 64. I did not take the scalp trade for 50 cents when it wanted to give it to me. I wanted it to go down into the bottom. I wanted more than 50 cents, risking 50 cents. I wanted it to break that 1-to-1, and then we're going to get some out. But it never presented that. Actually trended to the upside. We got out, did not try to fight it. And Zoom went green today. $66 is the red to green story on Zoom, or yeah, red to green story. It pulled back a little bit now, but if this market could break 16K, I think this would be a stock I want long. I don't know if I would be putting in a long now as the market's rejecting 16,000, but if for some reason we were to break that top, Zoom I'd put into the category of great bottom. A lot of the names that had strength today were names that were down on earnings and caught a bit of a bid, whether it's, we'll get to lows in a second, whether it's some of the retail or specifically here Zoom.
Right now, guys, let's just go spin the money right now because NVIDIA is coming back down. We're now $1 in the money on this place. We did get some more out there at $4.99, like I said, so we can keep making these dollars. We'll keep doing that. So there it is again, reloading, in and out, in and out. Let's see what happens here. We're still holding for the dream. I mean, obviously, if it comes back down, that is fantastic. We are bidding $4.98. I'm actually bidding $4.98 flat. I see VWAP is here at 35. Let's just see if we get a little bit lower into the 50-period moving average. So right now, all is well on this trade. We don't have, look, I talked about buying Zoom 63, 64. It doesn't look like it got down there. We're still in this short too. So AMC right now, we're still in this as it's touching lows of the day. So again, breaking back down below 7 early. That was a good one, man. We liked it so much. We hit it a couple times there twice, right through. So far, so good here on AMC, unfortunately. Making the move down, as I know there's a lot of traders. I actually learned this because you guys messaged me. There's a lot of you guys that are also in puts and whatnot, so me not feeling bad about shorting it. But I don't. I just trade price action anyways. So there it is. Nice little downside move to the bottom. Thank you so much. Chris Brecher messaged me. He said, congratulations on my Microsoft call and on the Pan W call. That Pan W was an easy one. I definitely like that name. So, all right, NVIDIA downside right now. We'll continue to watch it. I'm bidding 498. Let's go talk about lows.
Yeah, downside as well to kick things off. It's been a bit of a slow grind. Back to the upside, 3% here overall on the day. We're off the lows, as I mentioned, but 200. A bit of a sticking point here. I mean, this report, kind of echoing Home Depot or what we heard from Home Depot, specifically with the forecast, the cautiousness accounting for some of this decline today.
Yeah, Brendo, look, it was a tough look for Lowe's. They took a big charge, $2.1 billion on the quarter, getting out of the Canadian market, which I didn't even realize was happening. So tough look there. They continue to complain of some of the same things that Home Depot complained about, which is they are seeing people engage in home improvement, but not to the scale that they were doing it during the pandemic. See, a lot of people are not moving because of high rates, so they're choosing to stay and upgrade their homes. So from those people, they're benefiting. But a lot of people already did those home improvement upgrades during the pandemic. So less of a pool of individuals, Brendo, to make money off.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Best Buy here as well, because when it comes to retail earnings specifically, all of these charts look almost identical today. Jay was another one this morning that was kind of gapping down and then just did nothing but grind higher. We are rolling over here a little bit more on Best Buy, but another one that sounded very similar from the stance of their report as well.
Oh, I didn't notice that before on the little Lowe's graphic there. Hands on the head, market down thing. That's pretty cool. Good job, guys. That's really good. But you know what's interesting is, hey, if you went long, like another one, if you went long this at the open, it was just a relief rally to start with. Now, unfortunately, it just didn't hold on. So let's get this out of the way. It basically gave you a push through 200. Then the second it failed 200, it's been nothing ever since. That's not the retail name to focus on for strength. It's not Lowe's. Well, okay, fine. I mean, it was this morning, but you might not close above the 200 period, so the 50-period moving average. You rejected the 200 recently. So the trend to the downside, which was abating a little bit, could be right back on for Lowe's with this close. It was Walmart Walmart this morning bounces clean off the 200-period simple moving average on the daily. Yeah, 154 this afternoon.
Why is that getting hit so bad?
So 154, remember the earnings and then just consolidate off the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
So it's made a bottom since earnings of that 200-period moving average. Pull back from fresh highs. It's going to happen at times. But now I was in the long off 156 and got out like a schmuck. And then I had a dip in here and got out again. It's stair step to the upside. I want to find a way to get back on the stairs for Walmart. I know I like this one long, relatively speaking. And just to go back, because there's no avoiding it. If 500 breaks again on NVIDIA, then I'm not getting VWAP, and I'm getting out if it breaks 500. Now, when it broke the first time playing through, I like fail breaks for entries. So it got through by about 10 cents. Usually I'll go 11 or 21 as a stop on an even dollar level to look for that re-entry underneath 500. But the second time through, nope. If it breaks a second time, I'm out. Because NVIDIA on earnings, anything can happen, man. I would not be, if we're at 495 at the close, I'm not surprised. If we're at 505 at the close, I'm not surprised. If we're still at 500, I'll be mildly surprised. Anything can happen.
Join me tonight. Well, I will be not having another coffee tonight, but I will be having one now. Thank you, Mr. Randy. Tesla ripped, by the way, today, so
Yeah.
we were right about India.
Oh, goodness.
There we go. Okay, watch out. Yeah, we already made that
GM's
there.
a problem.
Okay. Yeah, GM is in the ditch, says Randy. And Ford, if they haven't recalled any vehicles today, they maybe will tomorrow. So we'll wait for that one.
Every day.
What are we talking about? Oh, Home Depot v. Lowe's. Yeah, so the only thing to me that's good about Lowe's coming through so red and Walmart is that maybe at some point we can get Home Depot to come down. So if that name gets back into 290, From now on, I'm done. I'm done buying like little crappy stocks and things like that. I just want to buy the best of the best or ETFs, honestly, for my RRSP. So we've been buying some Amazon, some Tesla. Obviously, we're still staying long all of the Mag 7s. But as far as like any kind of home builders, I don't really want to mess with. I don't want to mess with, like Walmart's interesting coming down. If that can bottom out, obviously that's going to be sort of a best of breed as well. But I really, because we're talking about lows, let's just move over to Home Depot. It's Home Depot, it's Costco, it's names like this that I want to try to get on dips. So Home Depot already off this 290 level. I think that this could be something that if it does come through, we will like it. And there goes NVIDIA obviously breaking through 5 bills. So see ya for now as NVIDIA goes back up to the upside. We had some good trades. We only started this around noon. And we're able to get our best out there. You guys saw me do this on the midday show, was 495. So I feel like I want to be long heading into earnings. So maybe I'll just punch long here NVIDIA right now.
Sean, I have so many that I could offer you, little crappy stocks, but anyway. You want some more? Same.
Out if you want.
Same. All right, let's go. Baidu, decent volume day. First of all, I kept seeing it popping up on relative volume scanner this morning as we got going. But yeah, I mean, a decent report overall. They did point to the fact that their AI development was going to take a hit because of these new U.S. restrictions. But overall, not bad, 2% here.
Yeah, revenue up 6% year over year. They beat on earnings as well. It was interesting. I mean, like Brendo said, the headwind here really is their ability to scale up their AI infrastructure with the new embargoes. Aside from that, they had a good look with their Apollo Go robo-taxi business. They did 821,000 rides. Compare that to the previous quarter when they did 714,000. So they're looking to scale that. Interesting look, but still major headwind.
Yeah, I mean, not much to do outside of the initial move here this morning. It's been kind of back and forth since, guys.
That we've just basically summed it up right there. With the Chinese ADRs that aren't the BABAs and the NEOs of the world, oftentimes if you don't get like the first couple of moves, that's more or less going to be it. However, there is at least something going on here in the higher time frame for Baidu. It seemingly is going to close above 113. So since it got flushed, it's made a very clear bottom with off of $100 here, like 103 is a low, and breaking 113, closing above 113 would be bullish. The 50 period is at 120. So this does kind of set up for continuation the next couple of days back into the 120 level off this 113. It has to, if it closes above 113, I get bullish on the stock. It's just I don't think you have much of a trade here. I mean, unless you really, really wanted to scalp 30 cents on Baidu. And the thing about that is, if you're really interested in scalping that type of a range, there's probably a half a dozen more traditional like Apple, those kind of things that you could just be doing the same thing with, or just go find like Ford and take 5 cents. Or there's something a little bit better to do it on that will have better liquidity. This has a 5-cent spread. So scalping a 30-cent range in a stock that has a 5-cent spread is completely useless because when it breaks, you're not risking 3 or 4 cents off the top. You're risking 5 to 10.
All right, so just again, real quickly, man. Like if we see anything coming through here on NVIDIA breaking through 499, then I said I'd want to go long. So we're just like, we understand, remember what I told you before, like taking a $2 hit, taking things like that. So this is kind of the section. It's like when you break through 500, you're going to get out because we saw yesterday we took $5 on the upside of that break, right? And so you are going to have situations where unfortunately levels are going to break and you're going to get caught, and if you don't punch out, then that's it, right? So just looking right here, look, a couple shorts back out, like getting them all out here, 498 and change, going short again. We got stopped out that first time, went short again, got some more outs, then just got stopped out again. But what we're doing now is I'm going long against basically like 498, 499 break, something like that down in this area. So we're going to try to go. If it breaks lower, fine. But I know I want to be long NVIDIA here heading into the report. Not that I think the report's going to be great, but some momentum upside, that would kind of make sense. But hey, if it breaks lower at this point through 498.50, then we're going to be gone. I just think it's worth taking a shot. So that's sort of my plan of action on NVIDIA for those of you wondering that I am stuck long now. So we were short. Now we're long right here at O's.
Just noticing Geo, G-E-O, Citron tweeting about that once again. It's been a while. They used to do that once a week or so, but yeah, just heads up on that. It's that prison operator, Geo. I was going to talk about Rivian there, but I mean, overall, EVs in general haven't been terribly exciting. There was a little bit of volume actually there on that Geo as well. Rivian by far are standing out here as far as the EVs. The rest of them, again, haven't really been all that exciting. Tesla, I guess, negative as well. But Rivian teetering here at day lows, down 6.3%. I guess they don't like the fact that RJ is now going to be in charge of design, in charge of software, in charge of basically everything, a la Elon Musk, early days Tesla.
He just needs to get the couch in the factory so he can get the full Musk
Sleep
experience.
right on the floor.
Yeah, guys, I mean, it's an interesting look here. We know that they are starting to scale up. They raised some money. We know about that. They raised $1.3 billion in March and another $1.5 billion about a month ago. They are going to start making the R2. We know that the product launch likely in 2026, but we're going to see what the product looks like early 2024. He looks like he's taking charge at the helm there to really help with the scaling. So we'll see how this does, but obviously the market today not liking it to the tune of about 6 1/3%.
Yeah, not great. Right at day lows. Bottom end, or like the last sentence essentially of this tweet from Citron, they're pointing to one congressionally approved technology solution that he says, and it's not Microsoft.
Okay.
Whatever that means. So that's Geo.
Yeah, so I guess what they're saying is because they're talking about the Homeland Security issue, and I see what they're getting at there, because obviously they would have some technology that they use in the prison system, which would be applicable in other phases. Okay, fair enough. I'll give it. Here's my thing on Geo when I pulled it up. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is not a stock that I've really paid too much attention to, or I've been a buyer of, or any of that nonsense. However, like if Geo is a stock that you are looking at, or is a stock that you like, or a company that you think is good, and you wouldn't be buying it off of this support, then what are you doing? Like, look at the daily chart on, like, this is wild. Like, look at the consolidation and accumulation down here at the bottom, only to give you, like, maybe it's not that sexy. I don't know. It's just, when you see levels like that, like when people talk about support and resistance, that's literally what they mean on this chart. So get that out of the way. Oddly enough, it's already made the bounce, and now it's consolidating at the highs. Not a bad time to pop some good news on it if you have a long position. Get a little exit liquidity before it heads to $10. I have no idea if that's what their plan is, but I'm pretty darn sure they're long in front of that $7 level, because who wouldn't be that wasn't tracking that stock?
Yeah, that's always a plan.
Well, you know what's interesting? It's just, I don't know, man. I hate to be cynical about it, but like, how many times do we have to see stock has made a good bounce, finds resistance at an obvious level, and that's where someone bullish says, hey, look at the good things happening to it, or the other way, the short report comes out after it's fallen off a big level and is running into support or something along those lines. So just try not to be somebody else's exit liquidity if you can. I'm going to slap the fail on the chart. I liked Rivian short today. I just didn't follow my execution plan. The plan, in terms of the $17 level, was good. The execution plan stunk. And it stunk to high heaven. Because, look, I got in on the way back up off the pre-market low, which generally speaking I don't mind, which is fine. Bounces back into the pre-market low. I stop out underneath not the pre-market low, the previous day's low, which you can't see. There you go, you can see it now. So I stop out tight there, which is fine. But then it curls off of the $17 level as I'm waiting to get money fills over 17, but I can still take this trade on the way back with a 17 stop. That's mistake number one. When it consolidates under, I don't mind joining a lower consolidation, but I don't do it. Now, granted, at that particular time, I had other trades that got into which worked out. However, that doesn't mean just because I found something that worked here doesn't mean I should have gotten away from an idea which was a higher priority idea, which is what I did, got away from a higher priority idea, and you can see what happened to Rivian. I then decided to short the bottom break, which I'll take that shot. I don't mind that fill. Getting short as it's breaking the lows, and then it couldn't take it out. But this is the missed opportunity, no questions asked. It showed me the failure of the price I wanted. It showed me a consolidation to be able to get in a little bit later. I just didn't, what's the word? Stick-to-itiveness. Didn't have enough of it with Rivian. I almost said, yeah, Rivian.
I like that word, stick-to-itiveness. We do have
That's a word.
stick-to-itiveness right now on this trade. Let's go NVIDIA. Right now, $1 in the money, back up to the upside. So there it is, man. We talked about what's happening with our plan of action, and we turn our frown upside down on NVDA, because there it goes. We are now long at $500. We talked about holding that. The only mistake was not getting longer right there. My bid is at $4.99 flat. So unfortunately, we did miss the reload lower, but we'll take $1. Well, first we'll take 50 cents, which is right there. Thank you, Professor. And then we will once again take another, well, first 50 cents, then $1. Okay, so again, if you're gonna trade NVIDIA, taking hits, unfortunately that's going to happen. I told you guys when it breaks 5 bills, but we supported our long position and got out. We're out of half now. So honestly, I took 50 cents, then I took $1. My next offer right now, just for everybody, I'm just joking, I'm not gonna hold it all the way to the close, but I'm looking for up here like 503, 504. So let's see if we can get into this area. No more outs for me. I say this and then probably we'll put it out, but 503 area right now is what I'm looking for here on NVDA. Hey man, we made that cash. It went from like 0 to hero yesterday. From the break of 500 for us. So let's see what happens right now. There goes NVIDIA at 75 cents. Let's see if it can get higher. At any time. I mean, I can stay here. We got to talk about Brendan there on the picture. So there goes 510 right now. Yeah, it's still a great picture. There goes 5 right now, $1.20 in the money for NVIDIA. So, all right. Are we ready, Ramin?
Sure. All right. Our fault. We were just talking about entourage, so give us a second. The rundown is always brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. Get 25% off right now. Trader TV 25 will get you that. You get access to everything, the download version, the desktop version, the web app version. Side note, the download version and the desktop version are the same thing, if you're wondering, but tons of great features on the web app version as well. This works great on mobile, charts, news, all the financial data you need. 25% off right now, Trader TV 25, guys.
I mean, Netflix for the kids. We're watching I'm watching Eastbound. Me and the wife are watching Eastbound and Down.
That's another good show.
I love Eastbound and Down, man. Will Ferrell's in that.
They were just talking about Entourage, and I was like, oh, that should be a workout show, because I like to rewatch shows when I work out, so I'm not too distracted. I've already seen it. And I'm like, well, I need to have Crave over here to get HBO. My wife canceled our Crave, so I can't watch The Wire again. I can't watch that, and now Eastbound and Down.
You can get HBO Max, too. But.
Well, I guess I pay for every streaming service except for basically except
for the one you want.
Yeah. I just want to take a shot at. Actually, you know what? I didn't mean to. Tisha, I didn't even mean to say take a shot at Shot. The screen was on Shot. So can you go over Shot? Thank you for the super chat. This one was a shot in the dark this morning that ended up working out. That was an intentional pun, so there you go. If we can come to the chart, this is now 64% to the upside. It was a good breakout off 5 if you took it. That daily's not really show you much of anything. There you go. I just wanted to show you like the 15 to get an idea on the higher time frame, like where this thing has settled down. It was first, again, 420, the $5 breakout. It did have a nice little dip off the 7 break, so I think you're working off of around like 650 as it is cruising higher and higher, this Shot name. So look, it's starting to get a bit parabolic again, and when it does that in the afternoon, I would worry that the move might be done. That last level at 650 already provided you with a couple of opportunities to be long. If I was in it, I'd be in the trail mode, not necessarily trying to buy these tops. And then back under 650, it probably gets into VWAP. So 65% up, I think you should be a move like this, you're usually happy if you get that. So Tisha said you had the $5. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't taken profit on a $5 long when it's over 7, I think that's, I'd be, like, me, I'd be out of that sucker all day at this particular point. But just more fish to fry as we get to, just want to get back to the NASDAQ here for a quick second. Look, the NASDAQ is still pulling back off of 16K or 15.9, whatever it got to. It didn't actually get to 16,000. So that is the litmus test for this market. And I wanted to get over to Softy. obviously the Altman, saga. What are we calling it? Saga?
Saga's good.
Okay, we'll call it the saga. But now with the negotiations of him seemingly likely going back because the board has no choice, people are seeing that as, I don't know, the market took it as a positive and then is taking this as a negative. And regardless of what we think of that, Microsoft is down 1.4 and it looks like a short to VWAP as long as we hold this 16,000. So, chalk that one up as clear relative weakness. As long as the market holds under 16,000, I think you want to play any chance we get to VWAP. Now, I'm not saying we get there, but that's what it's seeming like to me. The other thing I wanted to get to was Palantir, all of a sudden back above 20.
Oh, yeah.
I should have been long. I didn't zoom out on Palantir. I think I should have been long Palantir off this bottom. Did anybody else kind of notice? So Palantir, when it broke down $20 last week that's like Thursday, there's a failure at 20. It bounced off 1930. Okay, good stop. Got back into 1980. And then the following day, to end the week, it dips at the open into 1970. So this is the fail underneath 20, the immediate reclaim of the level with a bottom right down around 1970. And then what was the bottom today? Right at that 1970. I did not zoom out on Palantir. This should have been a long. That should have been a long at 1980 with a 1970 stop. I don't know if there's going to be an opportunity to get it again, but if we do pop down in here, I like that support at 1970 for PLTR. The breakout on the daily is kind of gone now, but you always want to make sure when a stock is doing that you find those levels, and it does require zooming out to a higher time frame. I was so biased in Palantir that I didn't realize it was getting to a level like that. But if we get back down to 1980, I'll take a shot at the long on PLTR. What the?
I like Palantir. Like I said, I think it's about buying the best companies on, if you're talking about long term, but I know Neil's just talking about right now. So.
Oh yeah, scalp. That's a scalp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just.
Well, no, I do like. No, I don't. Actually, I don't mind it long term.
Oh no, but what you're referencing now, of course, as Neil and I, of course, need to be flat at the end of every single day. Check out this trade here on Roblox. We tweeted this out. Join me with Brian Shannon tonight as this is another VWAP trade right there. So again. When in doubt, wait for VWAP. No, that's not what it is. When there's a gap, wait for VWAP. That's what it is. So there's the move down. There's the move up. There's the short. There's the cover. So we got a nice one. But look at this. Look what just happened right now on Roblox again. Honestly, to the penny, So it's just like little things like that I got to be a little more aware of. We do have trader ideas. We have trade ideas right now. Trader TV.live. Make sure you join up with trade ideas because it's like that little thing like this, like little scanners. This is like a crossing VWAP scanner right here. So it'll give you the time, the stock, the whatever instrument that you're looking at again, hit up Michael Noss, but as long as it's chartable, in trade ideas, I believe that little scanner there will work. And then you can ask Michael for myself or Neil's or the closing. Oh, here it is. Look, I got to push it up a little bit. Or the closing show as well, the recap show, and lunch money when that comes back. Any update?
Yeah, I just use Sean's layout for when I do lunch money.
But that's okay. But it works for both of us.
Well, the update is.
Yeah, when is that?
We've talked about this, that we have a bit of a. Everyone always asks
soon.
Everyone always asks about the whole, hey, can we see your guys' positions over lunchtime? So we have a solution for that, and lunch money's coming back as a part of that solution. I did spoil a bit of it, saying that I'll be doing it with Obi. But the ETA for that will be simultaneous with our solution for you guys to see our.
Well, now we got to pay Obi.
I don't want to spoil it 100% spoil it. No love for Obi Trice.
Oh, I love Obi Trice.
Who doesn't love Obi Trice? That's our Obi right there. Obi and Max chilling out.
They're there.
Max
Max
always has a cap on.
Everyone always wants to know what's up with these guys.
I'll tell you this right now. If I had
Look at all those sticky notes, Obi. I see what you're doing. Okay, Obi.
Yeah, but what is that on Max's desk?
Obi?
Well, you're the one that doesn't want to pay the guy. He's not going to be able to afford them sticky notes.
I know. And we got to give him the sticky notes as well.
No, it's all good. You know what's
I want to pay him.
What's crazy is there were a few of these on the bridge, pads. I'm not saying that they disappeared one day, but I had a stash on the bridge back there, and they did disappear, Obi. So I was going to say this: if I had the quaff of Max, I wouldn't be wearing a cap every single day.
Right.
If you have that flow, when you're young, this is my advice to you, Max, when you've got that flow,
Oh, he knows.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just lean into it because
Oh,
it doesn't last forever. That's all. It doesn't last forever, bro.
He leans into it right there. So, yeah, okay. Anyways, there are the two legends right there. So we always get questions about where these guys are. That's where they are.
Chilling.
They're chilling. So NVIDIA has pulled back a little bit. There was something else I want to talk about, but I have no idea what it was. It was something else. It's about Palantir. Oh, we already talked about the Roblox coming back up there. So,
Shopify?
all right. No, it was Roblox, but it was just also right now NVIDIA. Shopify was a good trade.
It's weird. Like,
talk about that
because Shopify is always a stock that we're always on the top of our minds. It did something today. We should be looking at it. That kind of stuff.
$499.50. Okay, so I've just put another bid right here at $499.50. What? That just came into 64s? Like, what exactly is even happening here for this? So, all right. Little bit misunderstood there because I don't know how I missed that bid. That just came in. Did that actually happen? $499.60. Well, if it did, it did. I'm at $499.50. So I'm going to put another bid there. I didn't realize that just happened. So I thought maybe we would have got a fill when it was cranking down below there. So I'm going to put a bid now at $499.70 or so, but I'm also at 50. So just in case we wick down, I want to stay long this name, but the levels are getting a little bit spicier, but I'm still going to use $498. So my stop on NVIDIA is $498.50. So that's kind of right where VWAP is. So a break back down below that. Look, we took 50 cents, we took $1. This is not, I keep on talking about this. This is, again, not a trade that I'm so concerned about where we're getting out at. It's just, I want to be long. So this is where I throw out, and you hear Adara, you hear Sharif on the midday, and Neil and I will also talk about different trading strategies and whatnot. But the risk to reward on this one is not like 1-to-1 or anything. Like my target is 503, like 503.50 is where I'm offering right now. So that's where I want this name to go. But at the same time, like willing to understand that if we lose VWAP here, then being a trader, like I consider myself just that, like trading off of support and resistance, and then relative strength or weakness. Obviously, the stock has to be in play, so that's three things there. That's about it. So we use strength, support and resistance. We use VWAP. We use key levels. And then being in play, I mean, NVIDIA's in play. And then, proper share sizing is sort of the next thing into that, right? Because, you're not going to hold something like this right now. You just made a high, brand new high, and now you're going to take out this past bottom. So right now, it wouldn't be setting up for like a stronger name here. This is getting weaker, but I'm still going to use VWAP as a potential area to show some support. And if it breaks through that, then we can get out of it and not worry about NVIDIA anymore. So that's what we're going to do. I want to stay long this name. Just feel like there's going to be some FOMO. I think you guys are going to ask our opinions for sure. And my opinion is that this name probably touches like 530, 540 maybe, and then it goes.
Implied was 8, so that's like 540.
I was actually just going to say that because I just tweeted this out from
8%.
Yeah. You must have saw it too from Bespoke right here. And there's
that's
so plus or minus 8%. Right there, based on 87 quarterly earnings reports. But the thing about all that is like
that's gonna have way too much data from pre-AI.
Right, like I was saying, like I was buying.
But the options thing was 8% as well last 2 days ago. So I still like that number.
I like the number too, and these numbers are math, so they come from somewhere. But at the same time, it's like there's so much call buying in this right now that I'm assuming that the rate that you're getting there, the implied volatility is through the roof. So
I would imagine.
It's too bad because like normally we would have Daniel Shea. She's busy moving and doing all this kind of stuff. But for an options play, we'll be all good, man. We do have Brian Shannon on tonight to talk everything about this. So we're excited, man. Join me. If you want to see live, like not talking heads, like I'm going to actually have it up for you live as they report. We'll have a live level 2. So if you want to see what NVIDIA is all about, join me tonight as we'll be going over that report. And probably no other reports.
Well, no, there was
There's a few there. I just said
No,
that.
there was like one, shoot.
Anything that
We'll
could
have
be
the earnings board up for you guys. I'll talk about it now. I'm still sitting in plug power because why wouldn't you be? It's just it continues to go down. So I got short when it broke down underneath 370. Been short ever since. I had a couple of ads underneath VWAP in there. I can probably cancel the last one that I didn't get filled on. I got bids in front of I got a bid in front of 350. It's short sell restricted if it ticks 48 or 49, one of the two. I think it's 348. So if it breaks 350, it's likely to go short sell restricted. I want to be almost all out and have 10% left if it breaks to that level. So I'll be holding it all. I mean, until it breaks this channel back up, I'm just going to trail it out. Like the morning bottom was right here at 360, so that's an easy out off that. So it's trading pretty tight range in a general downtrend, which I don't mind. What else we got going on? Oh, yeah. Oh, apparently our well, I don't have to say it out loud, but our animations are down. You said it. Well, I mean, I've already started saying it out loud.
I'm hitting the bang and it's not working.
The problem is, a lot of times, like, we'll get stuff in our ear, and it's stuff that it's like I'm supposed to throw it to Brendan or whatnot. So you have this weird habit of I might start saying what I'm hearing when I have absolutely no need to. Zoom is a stock I wanted to get to. We're not breaking 16,000. If we break 16,000, I want it, but it's now looking like it's not moving a heck of a lot. I like the idea of Zoom retracing and breaking back out, but I'm gonna have to get to Walmart.
If I could hit bangs, I would. Look at this trade. Come to the screen. Like, I cannot, honestly, like, there is handing everybody. I told you we were bidding 70s, so there's a 70 fill. There's an out 10. It's not huge. I mean, we could have still been holding it right now. That would be 65 cents in the money if we had just held basically 10 more seconds. But we got filled there. It came down there. Like, look at that. That's... Oh, shit. They're back. Right there. So there it is right there. Good. What else can we do, man? There. We'll do this one. It's... And the thing is, man, we mentioned it. I mentioned this trade. So this, to me, is what it's all about. It's not about making money on the trade. It's about giving you guys some of these keys. It came back in to 70 last time. I was mad that I missed it. This time we put the bid out there. Grab the fill. That's what you're supposed to do. What's up, Zion? As well, shout out to everybody there in the chat because it is what it is at this point. All right, SoFi. Let's go over to SoFi. I've been buying some SoFi up, but it's still at these same levels. It's not like this has been an amazing buy for me. But SoFi continues to make a move up right now, bouncing off that 650 level. Again, on the daily, support and resistance traders unite because it's here right now. It looks to me like it wants to go lower. So I'm not super excited about the long, but it is definitely making that move off 640. Like, if you're long 640, I don't know what got you there unless you were reading the tape because, the break already sort of happened. Like, breaking back below 690 right there kind of turns me short on this name, not long. So I would think the short is the better play, but no denying the long right here. You can go back all the way back to February to find those levels. For me, now that I've already been buying, so I've just bought right here at 670, 680. So for me now, the next, not the reload, but the average in would be down here near 5. So good trade there for anybody that has that. But honestly, man, I'm just excited that we were able to grab that for everybody there because it actually worked. It made sense. So good little trade there happening on NVIDIA.
So I saw a really great point in the chat just now about AVGO. Now I don't know if there's any juice to what was put in the chat about the potential split on Broadcom. It would make some sense. You crack $1,000 literally yesterday. It was right at the $1,000 mark, and it's been a pretty good runner. Whoops, this way is the daily chart. Watch out for this. If NVIDIA pulls back, I could see some reasons. If they were to split, I mean, it shouldn't matter. Like, splits shouldn't matter. But we've seen this before with, like, strong, expensive names. They get a little cheaper, and the dynamics around options and some retail gets it a little bit bullish. We've seen that story before, and this could be a nice stock. You just want to see it maybe even pull back a little bit. So rejecting 1,000, NVIDIA earnings could easily pull it back in to a good zone. As far as the day trade goes, we don't really trade this thing. If it was 100 instead of 1,000, I probably would have faded this one.
Watch your mouth, Randy.
Randy just walked by and said Palantir is terrible. I mean, the problem is, like, Randy, first of all, we day trade. You're not even a day trader. This is a terrible looking chart. He just walked away when he said it. But that's a terrible looking chart. I get it. Today's not a good day for Palantir. Fine. Fair enough. Pullbacks are healthy. This wasn't very good either when it rejected 20 and got down into what price? 1360, 1360, 1360, 1360. Okay, this wasn't 1360, but who cares? You see what I'm talking about. Pullbacks are normal. Nothing goes up 100% of it. Nothing does that. You have to get a pullback, and if you're bullish on a stock, a lot of times it just gives you opportunities to either get back in or reevaluate as a trader. It makes it more interesting because it gives you more opportunities to trade. Now I just digressed. It was something, someone was asking about another stock, and Randy just walked by and I talked about Palantir. It'll come to me in a second. Shoot. There was a question about some, it was Shopify, I think.
We can look at Shopify.
I think it was Shopify, and maybe the $70 level on Shop. Whoops.
I can't believe nothing's happening since this release of Fed minutes.
They don't, it's the minutes, man.
I know, but people were in the chat were like, they thought something was going to happen. I didn't, I'm not really of the belief that too much was going to happen here.
They don't usually.
Randy didn't want to smoke, so he left because we got the hat on. I mean, Palantir's only up 300% this year. It's very, very small amount of return.
Like a little pullback.
On PLTR. I'm not sure where it goes from here, but I do like it. All right, I am not rebuying NVIDIA. We've already taken, we could have, and we could have won again 40 cents. You know, but at some point, you know, the music comes to an end. The music dies, as they would say.
Music never dies.
I don't know, but it's like bye-bye Miss American Pie.
Over Chevy.
Yeah, so, and at some point it will run dry.
That's a great song.
And I just wonder about NVIDIA right now. I'm still long, but it's just, I'm going to wait till 50. That's all. I'm going to wait a couple more pennies, see if it gets back into 50. Then we're going to load up some more at 4.99. And my offer is still at 5. I don't have any more offers. This one trader, remember I said like we weren't going to put out any more offers, but we were not expecting this. So it did come in and fill us. So we're going to just keep on scalping it out. So that's what we did there. My next out, unless I got another fill down here, is going to be 503. So that's where we're looking for NVIDIA. And 503 just comes into play from where we've already been. It's this sort of area. I don't even want to, this is 501.50. Nah, we're going higher than that. I'm thinking up into this area is where we want to talk about it because we've already wicked that high right there, decent amount of volume. Told you, man, we put on the volumes now. We're going to raise the level of trading going on here.
You didn't have volume on your chart?
No, I just had RSI. I have volume on the other charts.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't showing it here. So now we're going to show it up there. We're going to put on volume and the volume in the morning, I didn't think this is anything significant. You know, the opening spike, whatever, then you get a bunch of volume until 9:45. So, but any kind of random volume spike happening here, we definitely want to pay attention to it. But there it goes right now, $50.50. We're now in the money, 70 cents on this trade. No plans of getting it out until the upside of 503.50. So let's go, man. If this continues to go, we will watch it. And no better time right now than to throw to Frank as the market is kind of just chilling out now. We'll see what happens. Let's let the market figure itself out and go over to Frank to digest the recent news.
Yeah, kind of a ho-hum, kind of a minutes release here, Frank. We were wondering what was going to happen, if there was going to be a reaction to this, but nothing we haven't heard before. Most of the comments coming through essentially reiterating exactly the same thing we saw last time. So I guess give me your thoughts here, and then we can jump into a few other things as far as the overall market is concerned and what we need to be prepared for going into the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Sean on this one that the Fed minutes, I think a lot of people maybe see the word Fed or FOMC and think that it's, such a high priority event. But given that it's the, secondary breakdown of an event that the market's already digested, not really that much opportunity in it. And you saw it here today. Obviously, the biggest moves that we're seeing in the market intraday happening more so organically or preparing for earnings or coming off of yesterday's earnings than they are off of the minutes that came out in the last hour. But that being said, a couple of things confirmed, right? They're continuing to monitor this inflation. It seems like the Fed members are more worried about an uptick in inflation than a collapse in inflation, which is to say worried about the economy starting to move too fast again than they are worried about the economy collapsing. And that's actually done a couple of interesting things over the course of the last couple of weeks. Is not only are yields moving lower in the longer term, the 10-year and 30-year well off of those 5% highs that they hit in October, now kind of pushing through 4.5%. But Brendan, what we have seen is the projections around where the market thinks interest rates will stop on the downside if we are going to get some cuts next year, and if yields are going to continue lower with those cuts. That does seem to be firming up at around 4%, which is to say that the market thinks that the Fed will pull back and maybe normalize rates lower next year. But we did a handful of months ago think that that might be in the 3% handle. And now the odds saying from futures traders and the market holistically saying that 4% looks to be the floor for the next year of Fed activity. And I think if that floor is lowered, that could mean upside for stocks. If that is raised up higher, then stocks maybe give back that ground. But that seems to be where the market is looking right now. And on a Fed minutes where they're not even talking about cuts yet, it's hard to really get anything out of that, you know?
Yeah, and is that the key here? Do we need an actual, I mean, a lot of people like to say Fed pivot. Do we need to see and hear that language before we actually get the, reaction that we are in fact in the all clear?
And I guess, that is maybe the most intriguing part of today's number, is that we got nothing out of it. And if another Fed minutes goes by and then an FOMC goes by here in December, the last one of the year, then we only have a handful more of these events to see any of these cuts, right? I mean, the market has projected that the first cut would tentatively happen in I believe it's April, May next year, whenever the FOMC event is. I think it's May next year. And if they're not even talking about cuts and we only have 3 meetings between now and then they're going to start to price out those cuts. And that could mean, this S&P 500 moving away from all-time highs as it's been moving towards those highs, and now only a 5% rally away from new highs, in tandem with projections around interest rates moving lower. And so I think the big question around whether or not we'll get to 4,800 again and beyond rests on, how serious the Fed is about normalizing interest rates lower. And I mean, there's obviously so much nuance to this. I'd be interested to get your take on, at this point, if the market is, let's say, pricing in 4% interest rates by the end of 2024, and the S&P loves that, the NASDAQ loves that, they're all moving towards new highs, where does the worm turn in terms of sentiment in that stock market? Is it 3.5%, 3%? Because obviously the projections around interest rates move lower with U.S. economic data moving lower. And at some point, that soft landing turns into a little bit of a crash. Do you think that the current projections around 4%, first of all, are feasible in the next year? Like I say, only have between now and then about 10 meetings for them to actually cut, and they haven't even started talking about cutting. And that they like to talk about either hiking or cutting a couple of times before they actually do it. Is that feasible? And is that the number that the stock market would like the most? Or would 3% be more optimal, do you think?
Yeah, and I think that's, what we were kind of, pointing at, in the sense that, are we waiting for them to actually come out and say, yeah, it's coming, it's just a matter of when? And I mean, you and I had this conversation going back a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about, on the way up, it was 75, it was 75, it was 75, then 50, then 50, then 50, then 25. Are we going to get the same thing coming back down? Is it going to be, 75 right off the top, and then let's see what happens?
Yeah, I think that would actually do more harm for the stock market in the long run than help. I think what I'm getting at here is that even though rate cut projections were larger at certain points in the last year, there were at certain points the market was pricing in, majority chance by the end of 2024 of being at 3.5% or even lower, and now it's really firmed up around 4 to 4.5%. That's where the majority of the odds are for 2024, and I think we have the graphic if you want to throw it up there with the distribution. Yeah, there we have it. You can see that the bulk of this probabilistic curve is actually around 4.5%. And we've looked at this in the past, especially around March when we had the regional bank crisis, and that curve was closer to 3.5%, and even odds of getting lower, closer to 3%. And yeah, to your point, I think that the market wouldn't like, 50 basis points, 75 basis point cuts, even though if you were living in the binary world of lower rates, better for stocks, you might think that that's the formula for success. I would almost contend that the way that interest rate projections are currently situated, a 10-year around 4.5%, and projections for the Fed to cut on a slow pace down to 4%, 4.5%, that is the exact soft landing that this stock market wants and that this stock market's feeding off of right now. And though short-term brain might say 50 basis point cuts, 100 basis point cuts, that's what'll really juice tech stocks and crypto and all these different things. I think that that's a slippery slope, because if they were doing that, that would mean that they're seeing stuff in the market that's really fearful long-term for our economy. And so right now, it does feel like we are in that kind of golden scenario, golden path forward, even though interest rate cuts might not be as large as we had once thought or hoped. But what'll be really interesting, yeah, to your point, no one's talking about this. It didn't come out of the Fed minutes. We haven't had an FOMC speech yet where Powell has, one, even taken hikes off the table, let alone alluded to cuts. If that rhetoric continues through December, through January, February, March, we get through that May meeting, where is the first one that's projected to have a 25 basis point cut, and they're still not really talking about it. I wonder if the market will cough up some of this upside that it's seen and move away from those all-time highs if we don't only just firm up in interest rates around 4%, but that 5% that we're currently at does end up sticking around for all of 2024. And I think that's what the market is watching right now in terms of rates is, yeah, when will this language come in? When will we actually see a cut? And at the end of the day, hopefully it is just 3 or 4 25 basis point cuts in the next year. I think that's what the stock market would love the most.
All right. And then, we get the same phrase today from the Fed meeting minutes suggesting that they're going to make decisions based off the quote unquote totality of the data going forward, which we've heard, for a better part of a couple of years now, it seems. But let's talk about some of that, because we have a non-farm coming up next will be the next kind of stop, next kind of data point that we have to deal with. And then CPI, still a few weeks out. I mean, December 12th, I think, is the next inflation print. But if we start seeing some of these next prints, I mean, even this week we get Michigan sentiment. It's not really one that is considered an inflationary print, but it does have that expectation side to it on the 1-year and 5-year time frame. So if we start getting some of these next numbers supporting what we're talking about, then that could speed up the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it starts with this week. I believe there's a U.S. jobless claims coming as well. That employment data is just as essential as the inflation data. So maybe something to glean. I believe it is tomorrow, let alone non-farm. Yeah, that's obviously a bigger number that's soon to follow, and then inflation following that. And yeah, that will, continue to guide these markets that we're talking about that project interest rates. Those markets get filled out with those projections based off of these data points that come out, right? And so that'll be super essential here, because, yeah, if that non-farm comes out either in line or stronger, then you start to price out these cuts to interest rates even more. And you likely see the stock market start to slip on the potential for a resurgence in inflation. And so, yeah, that stuff will continue to be essential. And the market's still really feeding off of just those slightly lower than expected numbers, but hopefully not too low here. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see with jobless claims and then non-farm payrolls before inflation and then the last FOMC of the year to come.
Yeah, and it's a great point and worth reiterating in the sense that we want to actually see this happen in a controlled fashion, not necessarily that they're just going to take an axe to it and see what happens on the other side, because as you said, that would mean something else could be potentially wrong as far as the economy is concerned. Let's talk about this yen real quick, just to wrap things up here. Dollar continues to, make this move, but I mean, we are still holding within key ranges here, but this yen is just wild at this point.
Yeah, it's some pretty crazy stuff we're seeing in the Forex space, which is the start of US dollar depreciation. Because not only has it been, highs for US interest rates going back to 07, we're seeing highs for US dollar, especially relative to this yen, going back to the early 90s. And so the stock market is feeding off of the interest rates. It was seeing so much bearishness as interest rates were pressing through those historical extremes, and now seeing some bullishness as interest rates are moving off of those extremes. US dollars still holding on to a lot of its strength, I should say, that it got from those upside extremes in rates. And a lot of people thought, I talked about this with you last week, a lot of people thought, myself included, that after the historic run dollar saw in 2022, we would see some reversion in 23. We did for a brief period this year, but dollar closing out the year right back at its highs against a number of major currency markets. It's got me wondering, if rates continue to give way here in the U.S., yields and across the Treasury curve give way, that'll be some huge potential for mean reversion there, given that, currency markets move 5-10% in a year, and that dollar has appreciated against the yen more than 40% in the last 3 years and sitting at those 30-year highs. And so, it's not just stocks that will be moving off of the potential for rates to move down to 4% or even lower, or resurge back up above 5%. Obviously, you'd expect the dollar to go the other way to new highs. But if we do see Powell normalizing, what does that mean for stocks? It seems like some bullishness for US dollar might see some historically violent mean reversion to the downside.
Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. We appreciate it. Great look as always.
Thanks, Brennan.
Frank, it was late, but it did happen. The Frank Caberna push to the markets to the upside. It was interesting. It's like he waited right till the end and then hit the buy key. You didn't even see him do it and then just spam the market as it got pushed through. We just tagged 16,000 on the NASDAQ and crossed by one tick, maybe two there. The only long I got is I did get into Walmart, but that's the only thing I was really looking for the long in. Outside of, we were talking about this in the chat, AMD, someone asked about AMD and I was like 119.15 is a break, but it's still a relatively weak name. So if this breaks out and wants to join the party, fair enough. But this is a penalty box, 2% to the downside for AMD. With that down 2 and an NVIDIA 0.7, we shouldn't forget about the fact that how NVIDIA does and what they say is going to weigh pretty heavily on AMD. The competition is, it's them. And then what's going to happen with China as well.
Look, we just reloaded on NVIDIA as well. We got a pretty sweet bottom pick right there at 50s. It goes down to, it's too bad because we're waiting at 99s. I think it got to 12s. So we'll take another piece out there at $500.10 as it just ripped to 501 again. So we are back in the money, another $1.40 on NVIDIA. Now, man, whatever. Like, hopefully this will continue its march higher, but who knows? The NASDAQ still red for the day. We'll watch it. And again, it just, you kind of just touched 16,000 again. Not kind of, I mean, exactly did. So right there, that 16,001, now pulling back 12 handles.
Yeah.
So watch out right now for the NASDAQ pulling back in.
I'm taking a shot shorting Intel. I want something weak.
Is Intel up to 45 yet? Because
No, 45. We're not seeing 45.
Oh,
bro.
no. Wow, Intel got crushed today.
Oh, I was just about to say, like, Intel's down 2.5%. We're not seeing 45 in the near term, and the near term being today. But on that little pop and fade at 16,000, I wanted something relatively weak to fade. Let's go to Brent. I'm in Intel. Stop will be 43.70. Brendan, what's up?
You guys are talking about weak stocks. Here's one of them. Amazon down 1.8%, trying to get back to the upside. This is kind of interesting. Mr. Jeffrey P. Bezos, this is the SEC filing from last week, said he was going to sell 1.6, we'll call it, million shares combined. Still holds 988 million shares worth of Amazon. But Amazon downside, CNBC was just talking about the fact that it could be today that he's offloading some of that at least.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, so, he's got a few less shares than I do of Amazon, which is not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the P stands for.
We just
Peter. Patrick.
Yes. Something.
Purnell. He's probably not a Purnell.
Precious.
I don't know why.
Okay, so right here, I just tweeted it out.
I like
well.
Precious.
So yeah, exactly. Precious Achua.
Achua.
If you want to go find exactly what Brendan was mentioning right there, we tweeted it out. So there it is right there. Yeah, interesting. Because of that reason, I actually was shorting Amazon pretty much all day here. We got, it was good until eventually we got stopped out. So Amazon, we'll have to watch out for that. I'm, again, AMD, NetWise, my number one stock today. We had some monster shorts. We tried it again right there before getting in and out, but short at 120.50, covering down here at 119. That's $1.50. So that was really good. I like the short now in AMD, but the problem is that I don't want to go against the semiconductor space right now because I'm long NVIDIA, and I just, I can do whatever I want. So right there, that's what we're going to watch that. But look at this. Largest semiconductor companies right here by market cap, right? It's like it's not even close. So we'll wait to see what happens. There's Intel. Like Intel 3 weeks ago was like down into here.
Yeah.
So nice little move up the ranks. Neil mentioned that story a little bit there about Broadcom, so we'll see if that can get going. We all know about Taiwan Semi, but there it is, man. AMD, Intel, Qualcomm. Now, they're all going to be a little different in what they do and what they offer, but you could see there NVIDIA, it's not even close. So that's why now.
Go back for a quick second.
Yeah.
Like you can add, just to put it in perspective, like you can literally add TSM, Broadcom, and Samsung.
At the top four, pretty much. Well, top three. After.
ASML probably missed a buying opportunity on that stock, I think.
Well, they had that controversy.
It's everybody was
at ASML. Yeah.
No, it was them with China as well. Like everybody has been scared off by this whole, are we losing revenue to China story. Like I said, I got into Intel, but ASML. Again, think of like if ARM has their technology in every single smartphone, you do not make an advanced chip without ASML's lithography machine. Like that's the jam, right? So I know everyone's trying to figure out a way to sidestep them, but it's going to take a hot minute to do it. And there was a really good. I'm going to slap the fail on myself because I kept bringing up the stock as it was going down, and I don't own it, and I never pulled the trigger. But this was a buying opportunity. Even when it just retook the 50 period at $600, you could have been in there, and you just got to 700. This is a long-term quality company. At some point, you don't have that kind of an advantage forever, but while you do, you milk it. Brendo, what's
Not seeing anything on this yet, but Toyota Motors just did that on heavy volume. So a bit of a spike downside there for TM.
I don't think I've ever pulled up Toyota on my day trading platform before.
Yeah, what's up with that?
But if you see a move like that and it doesn't do a ton of volume, as there you go, now it loads. So for it to make that on a huge volume spike, just don't trade that blind. Something obviously just hit. the wire. So until you have an idea what it is, it's already not going to do a ton of volume. It's going to be very spready. You don't want to be punching in and then you're off sides after one move. So something clearly going on there. Brennan will get it to us whenever it does happen. I didn't get any more fills on Intel, but if it gets down to the low of the day, want to take some profit. This was just about 16,000 not holding or not breaking, I guess would be the answer, because we talk about this with the futures, and I'm not saying this as someone who trades the futures. Anyone that's traded the futures has always said this to me, so I respect it. It's not like trading $100 or on a stock. If 16,000 isn't broken if there aren't buyers above 1620. So when it wicks and goes like a couple of ticks, that's definitely a bit of a failure. And if you like shorts, off of the, on this move to the downside, that shouldn't be scaring you. You should be looking for, I would look for entries when it gives you that wick top and you find something that's relatively weak. So that's the reason why I went over to Intel. I knew it was under VWAP. I knew it was under pressure. It was lower hanging fruit. You should always keep a cycle of a list of names. These are the stocks I like that are weak. These are the stocks I like that are strong. When things set up, then you know exactly where it is you want to go. John in the chat saying, hate to chase VFS. I don't know where VinFast is, but I'm just going to agree with you. It's not a stock that I would chase either, though I still believe firmly there's a few names out there that I'm keeping an eye on for EV names at the bottom. I think you like Rivian, I like Rivian. Polestar is the other one. Polestar is the other one. I didn't realize VinFast was up 17%. I wouldn't chase it, but Polestar is another one that's making a nice bottom. When the EV names go down, it has stopped breaking lower. To put in perspective, this move on VinFast, you got to zoom way in to see how insignificant 16% is in the grand scheme of things. I still believe it's not a squeeze till it goes like 750 or something. But a good move. I wouldn't chase it here. Credit to them. Oddly enough, that might have just been the top. Wow, John. He said hate to chase, and there is a top.
This is kind of interesting to me. I had no idea that the banks were this super hot fire. I mean,
But they're not a rapper.
JP Morgan, like 136, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 days since the bottom, 2 red days, and absolutely rocking right now back up to the upside. I've left these positions alone. And good thing I have. I panicked before and gotten out somewhere around here, 126, right into here, when I thought like, no, it wasn't here. It wasn't this recent. I don't know. Anyways, I feel like it was something like this, and then we had this move. So yeah, maybe it was into here. But a good thing we didn't again, and then there it is. Nice move right back up. And then I only own 2 banks.
You know what?
I own JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs.
But why couldn't Warren Buffett's mystery stock just be like JP Morgan or
Well,
Goldman
it could be
Sachs?
any bank. But
It could literally be any. Why couldn't it be?
I feel like he would have announced
He's out of BAC.
Is he?
Yeah.
What?
Isn't Brennan, Warren Buffett's out of BAC, right? I'm pretty sure. If you can check that, I think so. I don't want to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I want to get that corrected right away. I'd hate to say something that is incorrect. For some reason, I believe that. So I'm willing to acknowledge I could be wrong about that. But the greater point would be there is a mystery financial that he's in for $1 billion that he doesn't want to disclose. And the only reason you wouldn't want to disclose because you want to buy more, right? So everyone's going to have fun guessing it. A lot of people in the chat this morning were like, SoFi, baby. I'm like, okay, it could be SoFi, could be Robinhood, or it could be a high quality name. And why couldn't it be a higher quality name? I wish it was Morgan Stanley. I own Morgan Stanley. But JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs would be a little bit more, they're a little more on brand.
Yeah.
For Warren Buffett. That would be very on brand for him to pick one of those 2. Brendo?
All right.
Okay, so this is a little dated, but I see this is September 30th, 2023. He had 13% of the entire company. So that's, again, that's going back to the end of September, though.
He sold something. I saw a big sell somewhere saying that he's been getting out of the stock. So
Yeah, he still owns.
no, but he's owned BAC forever.
Forever, yeah.
But he's been dumping a lot of positions in favor of cash for a while now. You know what? The more I think about this, it actually makes more sense to me that it would not be Robinhood or SoFi. I was on team like it's one of those small names, but now it's, you know what, it actually makes a lot of sense that it could have been, because I look at that JP Morgan chart and I look at all the other banks.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they were pretty badly depressed relative to what the market was telling you in terms of valuation, and historically they were at pretty good levels. Like, why wouldn't he have seen that as a value investor? They look pretty enticing.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to find it. Like, I knew I was letting Brendan fill it out, but like I knew that he'd still obviously owned a lot of BAC because we had sort of showed that. But like you're saying,
But he's been selling.
Yeah, he's selling a lot of stuff. He did buy Amazon a little bit as well, but it's Wells Fargo and BAC. Those are his babies for sure. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll look on about what that. I didn't know anything about that mystery stock. That's for sure. So we'll wait to see what that is as I go ahead and look for it. We did tweet it out a long time ago, his holdings. Brendan,
Well, if JP Morgan,
we'll be able to find something. Anyways, I'm really impressed with that JP Morgan.
well, I'll tell you this much: if
really
JP falls back down to those levels and it makes the same bottom, I'm just assuming it's him, and I would try the trade.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know, like pick it like if you get JP back down to the 200 period moving average and it creeps under the 200, like it made the bottom underneath, like, yeah, just take a shot. Like 140 into 135, that's not bad. And if it turns out to be an Oxy situation, you've got free money. Otherwise, what are you risking? 3 points there? That's 3 points if you see 140 again. I mean, that's actually, and it's a good company. Obviously, they're considered to be the biggest and the best. So, like you said, it's on brand. I'll respect that.
Yeah.
That's a much more impressive move because I haven't been looking at the banks in a while. Any banks I own, I just kind of don't really look at the chart until the next quarter.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. And remember, so I didn't buy JP Morgan until COVID bottom. So, you know, like we're in it down here, 80s and $100. That was a great reload right there on the weekly. The reason why I was mentioning about BAC there is, let's just go over here to BAC quickly on the daily chart, is because anytime this name gets to $25 right there, it was 25 was the bottom, but this 26, 27 area, we had talked about it on the recap show to be buying this thing. Same thing kind of like Oxy and whatnot if you're going to follow this guy. But anyways, make your own decisions here. The guy is 93 years old. Okay, so here it is. Nice move up again for NVIDIA, but it keeps on stopping at 501. So it's 316. We're entering power hour, but it's more like lack of power hour. We had one move up there to 16. Other than that, you're kind of bouncing around a 30 handle range. So I'm happy with what we're doing. I feel like that call there that we made, what's this? That call that we made there on Roblox, let's just have a quick look at it to see where we are. It broke through, so we did not short it. Roblox right there trying to get higher. I am not going short anymore anything. We're above VWAP. We're above the 50-period moving average. I'm going to be sticking with my guns long and looking for some longs right now, despite the market being down. I don't want to be any kind of like hero play at all. But Rivian today, look at this. Talk about like, basically, it's like, warning my kids that stove is hot, and then they do not touch it. So this is like a big save, man, because right there, we were long Rivian early. We talked about liking that dip buy opportunity on Rivian, and look at this, just fall out of bed right there from 1660 all the way down. We're able to get out of the way at 1650 and then boom to the downside. So even if we zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can maybe, see the trade that I was talking about here. I mean, there it is. It's like we were buying this against this pre-market bottom basically of 1650, able to take advantage of it a little bit. And even when we were about to break, if you guys were watching and with me here early, I said, I'm going to get some out here at 55, 56 because I'm so nervous. And I was like, this is not going to look good on the chart, especially if it blows back up. But that's why sometimes you'll see me be a little like, subconscious about some of these trades and getting out either early or late. And I'm pretty happy to get out of that one as Rivian right there does drop in. And this one might be a long. I just, you're bouncing off these levels here, 1580. Nah, it's too close to 1580. Okay. No, I scratched that.
That's a crazy barcode.
It is right now. But look what's happening.
Or
here.
accumulation's the other way to think about it.
Yeah, I like it. I think we want to buy some Rivian at some point. But look at NVIDIA.
I like
right
that
now.
for stocks.
NVIDIA right now, back into it. Let's go. Let's get the energy up here. I know it's a little hard to do it as we wait for NVIDIA earnings, but hey, we're here. We're $1 in the money. I've put my next offer, honestly, at 503. I might just take this on a breakthrough 5. We still have share, like we've gotten more shares, so we'll wait for that break. Let's just take a piece right now and see if we can get it back to the upside as we just dropped off of 501 again. So, you know, staring this in the face, not, you know, recommended, I don't think anyways, as we get some positioning ahead of earnings. So, so far so good. We'll take a piece out here at 501 if we're lucky enough to get another bump. We probably should have been sitting there. Hey, we have the trade on. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat, but you can see there, I'm out of Walmart. The bounce was risking 5 cents to the high, and the high of the day was going to give you 30, but you can see the turn. The turn's as clear as day. It just got up. Looks like it's a lower high as well, so you make that lower high. I would have been stopping out here anyways, but even if I had not had that order to stop out, I would have punched out manually underneath on that kind of a weakness. So it ends up being a small win. The longs earlier need to be, you know, the 156 breakouts, what you really wanted to have on Walmart. Shopify, I knew there was Shopify. It's almost at $70 here. So here we go. Let's go to the 15-minute. Yesterday, the top was $70 and like 16 cents, let's call it. Yeah, it looks like 70.16. This is in the midst of a breakout. Could be a nice 16,000 futures go. Shopify goes. And it's not like it's been crazy. Like all the bigger parabolic moves recently in Shopify have already happened. You're just consolidating off the top. I'm just zooming out so that you can see there's overhead resistance at 71.5, which for a scalp trade doesn't really matter because if it can break 70 and get to 71, that's fine. It's just notice on the daily chart, like it breaks out on the daily at like $72 for Shopify. So good little run for them. At the $70 level, it's 320. We're probably running a little bit out of time for that to break out. But I knew there was something approaching a significant level that I was forgetting to say, and it was Shopify at $70.
Oh man, Shopify. Why did we get out of Shopify? We got out of some Shopify. We didn't put any of that cash to work yet, but we are doing this, man. We did take that fill. So we just got a fill there at 85 on NVIDIA. So $1.30, you know, should be taken, and we just did exactly that. So there it is on NVIDIA, another one there. Let's see where it goes from here, NVIDIA. We're almost at the high spot here. I mean, the high really is 501.25. That's just of this. Like we can zoom out here and see what happened earlier on NVIDIA. But look what I did on AMD earlier. Remember, we were like, uh-oh, we shorted this 120 break, and we were able to get some money on this trade. So all good on that. But not all good as far as this move there. But nice move down. We don't have that very bottom. Good move down there on NVIDIA. But other than that, we'll wait to see here where we can go on this name. I like it, but it hasn't been fantastic. AMD in this afternoon. Like Neil said there, we're talking about barcoding a little bit. Like this is kind of look, it's heading up. We've got the bigger one, I feel like anyways. But we're heading up now. And if you like the short and you're like, you know what, I feel like this is a short. This is a short off of 119.10. It's just, I'd rather play the long. So this is why we get out of NVIDIA. Like we just got out at 501. It's now back down to $500.30. So being stubborn is good to some extent, but you have to make sure that you take some profit because your day could, that frown, as we say, could turn upside down real quick. So there's another out. And honestly, man, let's just go because it's another one. Because sometimes you got to have the out in order to put that money in your pocket, right? Two birds in your...
all times.
At all times, yeah. But
if you can take profit without getting out of a position or taking something out of a position, that is a trick I would like to learn.
Well, some people like to celebrate. Like you got to have it in, and that's.
Well, I think if you lock in a trailing stop, you can celebrate the win because you have a trail in.
Yeah.
But the trail still has to fill. Like, I mean, things can happen. Like you put a stop out there, what happens if the trigger doesn't work? Like all kinds of things until it's actually. It's like don't celebrate the prod until
been there, done that.
Until it's done. Like make sure you know the cards that you're holding, all that kind of good stuff. Steve G, you just made me look. Okay, fine. He just did the did you short sundial this morning. I'm like, oh, it's moving. No, it's not moving. Absolutely not moving. But there was a question in the chat about what could move on sympathy to NVIDIA. I mean, the usual suspects out there, the rest of the chip names, some of the AI type names. I mean, C3 AI is going to stand out a little bit to a certain extent, Microsoft. But one undercover name, it's actually not undercover. They don't report till next week, is Marvell. I think Marvell. SMCI is an obvious one as well. SMCI is likely to be a sympathy mover at times. with NVIDIA, but I think these guys have a decent chance to be a sympathy play. If NVIDIA is breaking out, they got room to run before their earnings because they've scared the living crap out of people when they join the party with the rest of the big chip moves. Like they've had monster moves or had a monster move on earnings, and given that they report next week, were NVIDIA to blow it out and just rip faces off, this would have a lot of room to run till it gets to some resistance in the high 60s, which is the top after their last earnings blowout. So this is the one I'll be watching. That we don't usually look at Marvell, but this is one I will be looking at specifically tomorrow because of NVIDIA.
All right, I mean, NVIDIA is still going, but like AMD just made that move right into VWAP, so this is something that's pretty exciting right there. You know, getting out of everything, and like we've talked about it, I did sell some DraftKings. We are initially lucky to get out in the 60s of this name, and just like we were lucky enough to get out of Disney somehow at 185 or whatever it was, 175, like, we're holding the bag on so many stocks, but sometimes we actually make good decisions, which is why I've been selling some NVIDIA, some Shopify. We just sold something else the other day. It wasn't CRM, but it was something else. Oh, we also sold some Eli Lilly up top. At some point,
yeah, definitely Eli.
We got like 614 or something. At some point, we need to do that just to capture some profit. I feel bad doing it. I'm long only, but you know, again,
it's interesting.
Trying to hold on to some things.
I never sell something only for profit if I really, really like it long term. But I will do this. If something is if it goes bigger part of my personal like portfolio of stocks than I like, then I'm selling it. And that was like, to me, that was Eli Lilly, and it was up so much, and then it's like, no, I don't mean to own that much of this one healthcare company. And I actually have not gotten, I was thinking about putting some of that money into the ETF, and then I did like the boring thing, which I've been just dollar cost averaging into the Qs, and like, oh, it's time to dollar cost average into the Qs. So I don't give a damn what the level is at because I'm never going to sell that position. Because I've always been a long SPY person. And so I've been building this year, it's building Qs because I didn't really own the Qs, and I like them too. AMD just broke that top. Now I liked it as someone asked in the chat, what about AMD? I'd rather be breaking this out because I like Intel's weaker, down more, can't get to VWAP. If I'm shorting one of the chip names, I feel like today, rejecting 45, it should be Intel, and they don't care as much what happens with NVIDIA as AMD does, in my opinion. But yeah, so it just broke out that teens. It's a tight stop that I'll usually have in here. I want it working right away. It's almost 330, so tight stop 330 almost goes without saying. So if it cannot hold on, I'll give it a few ticks underneath that 119. But AMD on a bit of a break. Of course, they're a sympathy name as well to NVIDIA. But like I said, when that question was asked, I wanted to give Marvell because I feel like that's the kind of name most people aren't looking at on a daily basis. SMCI, I know a lot of people are looking at pretty regularly. This was the other stock that went ham this year and can at least hold a candle to what NVIDIA did. If you're not familiar with SMCI, as the daily chart loads up, trust me, it gets better as it loads up. Recently, it's been pulling back, but this is the other one, and I've got a nice, pretty line drawn here at I think it's like 214. All right, now you're just frustrating me, chart. I set it up at how great the stock has been, and then the chart doesn't want to fully load. I think it's my PC slow, because my trade ideas is a little bit slow as well.
We talked about this the other day. The text that is most sent is "What's for dinner?" And then Marissa just asked me, "What do I want for dinner?" And she makes amazing soups, so I requested a soup.
Butternut squash
out there, yeah. She makes great butternut squash soup.
I'm saying do that tonight.
Great Indian food, yeah, whatever she wants. She's gonna figure it out. But minestrone, anything like that, man. I mean, we had sick lasagna yesterday. We're going crazy. But so shout out to her for that. That's the best when you know you've got a good meal coming through. SMH. So I just want to talk about SMH here because we have NVIDIA in an hour or less. Okay. I've really, really loved the SMH down here. I hate showing this chart. Okay, hold on a second. I got to show the other one because we have the split. Oh, now I've screwed everything up again. We have the split adjusted stuff happening. So, all right, down here to SMH. All right, so, you know, I've really liked this off the 50 period down here. We talked about that over and over again. We actually were buying some more down here. We talked about buying indexes and ETFs. This is one that I bought at 140. It did dip below 140. It got to 136 and change. And I'm not just I'm not data mining this. You guys know that we've liked this trade over and over again. I told you, I had Chris talk to me today, send me messages about good call on PanW and on Softy. This one right down there, I'm only bringing this up because if anything disastrous happens to NVIDIA, now I don't think SMH goes anywhere near here. That would be catastrophic if NVIDIA gets, well, not catastrophic. You'd have to get NVIDIA down to $4 bills or
catastrophic
something.
That's catastrophic is SMH going under 100. That's kind of
yeah, for sure. If NVIDIA does something to this ETF like that, but I just wanted to say that if there's any move down, I will probably be looking tomorrow. So those traders that are maybe trying to make some aftermarket trades, I just want to say that look at this, huge move up. If anything happens to NVIDIA, the semis are still going to be the space that you want to be in moving forward. I'm just going to be buying dips at this name instead of NVIDIA. So I told you that we'd sold some NVIDIA stock in and around this area. So, any kind of a pullback, I'd like to dip buy an SMH rather than NVIDIA in particular. So that would be just an ETF there that I'm looking at. And then if you really want to dance with the devil, you could grab SOXL, which is a bull 3X. So this name, again, if you're really excited about potential for NVIDIA, this name right here has doubled in a month, right? Not double, but you get what I'm saying. 14 up to 24, not double, but nice move up there. And look what we're tagging right here, these NVIDIA highs again. So watch out for that. Going back to August, this is when NVIDIA reported right here, and then the moves down. But still, nice little levels there for SOXL. So just want to give people some alternatives if and when, not if and when, it's coming out.
Well, yeah,
when the NVIDIA report comes. Whether or not you like the long or the short, ETFs are going to be trading in the after hours. So a little bit less risky.
You know what?
Let me just finish it, and I'll just quickly do it. Because of slippage. So that's the big word here. You've heard Sharif mention that there are no post-market, market orders, or pre-market. Doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter. It's just your limit order. Like if you put a limit order to get out at 494, you have to probably cross at least a 492. And, so just be careful trading, specifically NVIDIA in the after hours. That's my PSA for everybody. And I only have one piece left, man. We got out of half of what we had, then we got out of half of what we had again up there. So watch out for NVIDIA coming down. My out is 498.50. So that's that.
So the only thing I want to add to that, there's been, over the years, there have been traders on this floor that have engaged in quick in and out past 4 o'clock sort of structured earnings plays. And there's a few more that have done poorly than have done well, but the ones that did well on a consistent basis, one of the things that they would often do is, say it was Amazon, let's just say Amazon was reporting earnings, they would trade the Qs instead of Amazon because they would get the benefit of a slightly lagged move and sometimes better liquidity and a little bit of, especially exit liquidity if they're in the wrong direction. Whereas if you're in, say Amazon back in the day on earnings, if you're the wrong way, it's just over right away. So it is one of those things to look at. I don't know why I just pulled up DK. I do know why I pulled up Dix. This was probably the strongest earnings play this morning in terms of percent up. I don't think anything else was up double digits today. When all the other bad retail earnings names went upside, they only came back in. But I just want to put this into perspective. This is still above this breakout, 120. You can see previous bottom here, 121. It's still pulling right back into the previous breakout price. It could easily hold on to this. I'm going to be watching very carefully this 120 area tomorrow. It gave it everything back on that gap, but it could always still hold on to the previous support level. That was a lot of support going into earnings. It was a pretty decent quarter. But yeah, Dix, I think it's still worth watching for a couple of days. After that, you trade these stocks when they come to earnings, and then you give it a couple of days after that. And generally speaking, if there's no trend to be followed, you don't look at them again. But I'd at least look at this tomorrow for the 120 level if we get a chance. Obviously, one of these two things is not going to work. I got tight stops on either one, but trust me, there's no way both, like Intel's not getting to the low of the day and AMD cracking to like close to 120. It's not simultaneously happening, but I do have tight stops on both. With only 15 minutes to go, the early look was a 67 million sell imbalance. It's not a heck of a lot. So I don't think the imbalances matter too much. I think 16,000 is what matters. We break that. I want something long. Right now it's AMD. If we don't break it, I want to hold shorts going into the close. But first, yes, join the recap because there's NVIDIA aftermarket. Maybe it's a stock you've heard of.
Is that what it is? Okay,
Well,
I was wondering. I was like, why would anybody want
Somebody
to
told me that. So I don't know if it's a big deal. Yeah. But there's something else you got to do because I just noticed we always have a good crew watching the show. Right now, it's just sub 4,000. So I got to ask it.
Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market every day.
Not just takes you to the heart of the market, but does it in real time with an actual live look at, in the moment, what is happening. Not, oh goodness, Elon said the company's overvalued a half an hour later when Tesla's down 8%, let's talk about it. No, like when we'll actually be in the stock when it happens, we'll be trading it to when Tesla at that $1,000 level way back in the day, we'll be there. That's where we're at. So we're here in the markets every single day. If you like the show, like the show. Steve G, I'll hit the cat one a little bit later. I know we always do the Sharif one. It's a bit of a battle thing happening. We can get away from that at some point. Just to go back over to AMD, I hinted stop. Look, if it breaks 119, I have my stop underneath. It's in the 90s.
Are you long?
I don't like an even dollar stop. I don't want to stop out at. I never put a stop at VWAP, and I don't like it at an even dollar. But suffice to say, it's a few pennies underneath that. I just think VWAP is a good tool. I think it's a horrible place to exactly place a stop to cover a position. It gets more of it's an area more than anything else. So if I'm going long on a breakout over VWAP, I'm not just stopping out on that exact line. Some people, if you like doing that, fair enough. I'm not a huge fan of having a stop either right at an even dollar level or right at VWAP.
Okay, just real quick. I don't think Marissa's watching, but we are having butternut squash soup. So
because it's the best.
Got thrown down there.
It's the best.
And then she asked if we wanted side sandwiches. I mean, I'm Italian. Do I want side sandwich? Throws on some capicole on there. That's what we're going through right now. Or mortadella. Come on. We just went to Italy in Sherway. That was fantastic. And then anybody that's from the GTA, Brendan probably knows. You may know as well. I don't know if you will know because it is a Toronto thing. But San Remo Bakery there off of Royal York.
Well, I've heard you talk about it. So
just south of the Queensway. Brendan, you know that place or?
Down the street from it. Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I know that you're like a healthy eater, but imagine that place. That place is, the pastries there, man. I tell
now
you.
He gets excited about food. See that? Get Brendan excited about, I'm getting a.
But it's really high quality there. Like my kid got a prosciutto pizza
Too early
slice.
to talk about food, man. Oh, you make me hungry. Oh my
God. And then we were chilling out there because my parents came to my, actually it was my son's game on Sunday. And we went to San Remo's after the game, sat outside and had some sandwiches. Of course, I had an espresso. My wife and daughter each had a rice ball. Man, it's like the food that you get at this bakery is pretty much out of control. And it was great. And then there was some random old Italian dudes talking to my father. And I feel like he wanted to leave. But I was just like, I got to get out of here. So I left.
What?
You know when you're running into old...
Oh, I see. Yeah, well,
it's just like you go there, just like making friends. It's like everyone's sitting on a patio, and it was a lot of fun. So, anyways, it was a good weather out. No, they make apple fritters there. It's what they. So Dave Portnoy actually. Shout out to Davey Day Trader. Where are you at, homie? Let's go, man. You're welcome to come on the show. He actually did one of his pizza reviews of San Remo's. So you can go in there and find out. I think it was a 7-ish or so ranking there. So shout out to Davey Day Trader. Stonks only go up for Mr. Portnoy there from Barstool. So anyways, he did a thing there. But anyway, that was really fun.
I remember. Of course, he's famous for doing the pizza, which that's not a bad gig to be able to pull off, right? Like
getting your company back for zero after being paid couple $100 million for it is also good.
That's an amazing magic trick. That's an amazing magic trick. If someone wants to pay me to taste test fritters, I'm all for it. Like I mean, I'll bite the bullet. Like, let's just be honest. Like, it's not a healthy thing to do, and I'm willing to compromise my personal health to give reviews on apple fritters. It's just I have no issue doing it. I'm already doing it. Let's be real for a second. So just back to the market, we just dumped 16,000-ish again. Like, we're not actually getting to 16,000, but we're pulling back 5, 10, 20 handles now. We do still have a very, very tiny, small imbalance, but not everything is really moving a heck of a ton. I do expect AMD is going to come out.
I'm trying to
It's
see
holding 19, but only barely. I could have scalped 10 cents on it, but I'm risking, like if I'm risking 20-ish, then I want to make sure I'm getting that. If I take the profit there, you know, I want to make sure it sets up. When I take this kind of a trade, it's supposed to be breaking out of this range and then giving it to my stop. If I try to break the rules here, it doesn't really work in the long run. There was one other thing I was going to get to. Shop, no top break. Obviously, 16,000 didn't go, but we can still look at 70 tomorrow. Like, that's a breakout. If it breaks tomorrow, I like it. I might like it better tomorrow because that has all day to run. So I might like that breakout tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's what Marissa had. She had a Nutella latte. So I was looking here. So this is what they have, Nutella brownies. I'm looking for apple fritters. I don't see any carrot cake. These are all different cupcakes right here. Chocolate vanilla mousse, eclairs, like, come on. Look, this
now
is,
there we go. Wait, get to the cannoli, son.
This is what I'm saying. So there's pistachio right there. That's what I'm all about. Oh, donuts. I didn't even see this section. Okay, here we go. This is, if you slap that fail on me while I'm reviewing this bakery.
Yo, Fabian, chill, bro.
Fabian, just chill out, because we're not. Here. Oh, no, look, Neil, out of stock. Apple.
You're goddamn right they're out of stock.
No, but you know what? I'm noticing this. I feel like they don't. You got to just go there to find out what they have.
You can't be showing. I got it.
All right, see you later.
It's like 3:40. I'm hungry as all hell now.
CZ
Way too
stepping
much
down.
food
So
talk.
CZ stepping down from Binance.
He struck that deal with.
Right. So Coinbase 105.
What the heck are they called again? The SEC.
Yeah, some sort of a regulatory agreement there.
Those guys.
So we've sort of just been joking about all this kind of stuff. The thing about anything that has to do with anything here is I really feel like as you continue to look, we talk about there only being one winner, right? And the thing is that the one thing that when we did have Kevin O'Leary on, no matter what you think of any of these guys, we did talk about Coinbase and the fact that at some point, some of them are going to have to win. And Coinbase has done a lot of work getting their name in front of authorities and things like that. So maybe Coinbase sort of steps aside from all this regulatory stuff because they've already been through it all. I don't know. But anyways, Coinbase just very, very interesting up here near 110. I'd say that's a great breakout level. But Coinbase, look at this bottom, man. $70, flat bottom break, NEPA, flat bottom hold. All right, IG, what you say you? At some point.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, they do. Look, SoFi doesn't have, on my 15 minutes, SoFi doesn't have a red candle this afternoon. It's entirely possible. I'm just looking at it the 15-minute, but look, I like this for the long, and I played that long several times. I had one good bounce and then took like 3 successive hits on it trying to catch the bottom, and I gave up on it. Probably shouldn't, but I didn't. Once it failed at 650, the 650 area, I didn't have a level till 625. So it's going to look like, well, but then if you like the long, why didn't you just go into it again? It's not that simple. Right? Like, I liked it off a level. I played the level. It worked, then it didn't work, and then it didn't work, and it didn't work. I could have got back in when it reclaimed 650 and just been a buyer from there to here, but they're now up 1%. So once again, SoFi has survived the gauntlet and could be bouncing off the bottom end of this channel. Will it get to $8 again is the only question, because it's been holding this channel since about August when it made that bottom. So it failed $11, made that first bottom at $8, and then since then you've been holding the same channel on SoFi. When I see that, it doesn't mean it's going to bounce off that level, these levels, but I'm looking to short the top of the channel as a day trader. I'm looking to go long. It doesn't always work out. It was at the bottom of the channel today. I went long and it didn't work, but if you just gave it a little bit more room, certainly could have been okay. It also had no catalyst. Steve G, you're right, it didn't really have a catalyst. So that's another thing. You're probably willing to give something more chances if it's got a catalyst. You're like, yeah, you know, it's in the news, it's the mystery. If it was Buffett's mystery stock, that'd be a different story. But it didn't have a catalyst either. So it would be easy to say, heck, you could have just kept going long it, but at some point you got to stop when it wasn't working, and it wasn't working at 650. But you're right, Darwin, the banks have been doing lately. They got no issues. Well, they got issues, but they've been doing okay.
NVIDIA has issues right now. Here it comes right back in. We're long at 499. You can see we do have a little bit of an out there, only at 25 or at 30s or so. It bounced straight up immediately. Here we go. We are now out okay, we held on. So I held on to a small piece there because I had another offer, so it just didn't take it out. All right, so let's just offer it out right now and just not be stubborn with this. If it bounces off of 50, it bounces off of 50. So there we go. The last piece on NVIDIA, that's what happens. Comes out right there. We talked about it coming back in. Good call for everybody. I said that we wanted to go long on the market as long as we were above VWAP. We did just break lower. So there goes NVIDIA. Just took down VWAP. You know, this could be a bouncing spot for sure. But I'm not really going to dance with it anymore because, you know, we tried it. We tried to hold out. Now if it bounces, it bounces. We had some good out. I mean, the outs were at 40. I told you, we just got out at 40. Well, it broke through 50. Okay, now it goes back up. But either way, it's a 50-cent hit. Not going to cry over spilt milk there on NVIDIA as it continues to make a move down here. Down 1%. Wow.
Chocolate milk, yes.
I mean, we literally called pretty much that VWAP. But again, you got to give it a little bit more space for sure. It does touch down. So if you're going to go, VWAP is at 65. It does touch to 33s there. And see here, you come right back in. So look at that. Someone tried to get it going and then swack all the way down to the downside. Swack? That's not bad. Whack right there all the way down to the downside. So
happy whacking day.
yeah, for sure right there. So there we go. Watch out for NVIDIA now. Here comes the pullback in as traders starting to take off a little bit into the close. Did we talk about what the imbalance was? 67 million?
67 to sell.
Pretty small. I just crushed my water, so I'm going to go
right.
run and get another one because I got to get one for the close. So let me pass over to you. I'm going to get set up because we have a big closing show.
Nick Garcia, let's just call it 1 cent. AMD, so close. Like I showed you guys, you know, this is what I'm going long as it's breaking out off VWAP and breaking out off resistance. Had a couple of targets into this range from the morning, and then I'm essentially giving it just under 119. It did not, it ticked, but didn't quite break the stop. So I think it's going to. Ultimately, the way I just saw NVIDIA coming back, 16,000 failing. I don't move my stop in that situation. Like it bounces off 95. That's not a situation where it's like, oh, it's now bouncing. Let's load into more of it here, and then I'll have a better cost base, and then it can go up. No, there's only 13 minutes left in the day, 3 minutes still in bounces. I'm definitely not going to be adding to risk. The other thing that I have to be concerned with, like that's either going to bounce above VWAP and run at 350 or not. Like that's very binary. But plug, I've been sitting in this one short pretty much all day. Look at the barcode. I did take a little bit more. I just got on the bid. I'm just going to get the rest out on the bid, so just pop a bid in. If it breaks out here, I'm just going to punch 59s, remove liquidity off the offer at 59 is the way to put that. And then Intel. It's starting to creep back up. At 350, I'm always considering, do I need to tighten the stop up? Like I'm not shorting it to VWAP in the first place, but do I even want to give it all the way back into 70? The local high is right here at 65, so I want to be tightening up the stop. Now, there's a few reasons to do that. Early in the day, I don't move stops. But later in the day, it has less time for it to work or go further. So when you're day trading and you're up against the clock at 4 o'clock, there's less time for it to get to the level you want it to get to, which would be the low of the day. So you might as well be risking less in terms of actual like percentage or pennies or whatever it might be. You'll see two things just happen. One, got the fill unplugged, so I'm now just all out, popped it on the bid. And that was AMD that just came out. It just broke that support. Looked for the breakout. The good thing about it is if we take 16,000, at the time it had NVIDIA also running into earnings, but I like that VWAP break. Generally speaking, as a setup, that late day power hour stock makes some higher lows, breaks out VWAP, gets at least one move back into some early morning levels. That's a setup I'll favor, I mean, often, to be honest with you. With only 90 seconds to go, doubt we're going to have anything else on. NVIDIA after the bell, but slightly, I mean, it's after the bell, but it's a bit after the bell. That's why the value in sticking around, don't just leave after the first 15 minutes of the recap. If you want to get NVIDIA and then get the reaction to it, you want to make sure you're staying all the way to the end. Because I don't think there's another earnings name right now in this market that gives you more excitement or anticipation or bigger ramifications for the broad market than NVIDIA. So this is the big one. It was a big one the last 2 quarters. It's the big one right now.
I mean, I was just
have we done the board? Did we do the board? I don't think we did.
About the board for now, but we only have a couple more minutes. But I just want to say, like, just to your point here, here's NVIDIA, 1.2 trillion. The next one, we've already had lows at 100 million. We have Autodesk tonight. And of course, like, it's just so funny, like HP is here. There's a lot of different names that are going to come out. Urban Outfitters, watch out for some retail. Nordstroms as well as we continue to go on. So just a couple minutes until the imbalances. So we'll wait to see where they come out at. And just quickly here, those of you that are like, oh man, this guy's still an AMC, but we still have a very, very small piece. I was just holding to see how dramatic this name could get. It bounced off 50, so good note for that for tomorrow. We'll bid down there as we wait for these imbalances that are going to come right now. Brendan will give it to us, and again, these are numbers that are provided to us from Financial Juice. This is nothing that we're doing the math, and it's just an add up of whatever gets posted here, and you're looking for hundreds of millions in order for it to be some kind of a significant number. So, all right, so SU's there, Lucid is there. I'm not really seeing a huge move in the market at all. I am seeing NVIDIA rip to the top side again through 5 bills right now, so NVIDIA's probably a buy. There's Google into the close as a bid as well. That's starting to get going through 137, but probably everyone wants to see what NVIDIA is doing. And there it goes, right back up through 500 bucks. So that out's going to look bad, but hey, that's part of why we got out. It's like it was down there. If these imbalances come the other way, it's small 236 million to buy from Brendan. So it's definitely not a huge trade right now, but it's a nice one for NVIDIA. Oh, there it is. I did see it. I saw it. There it is.
400, yeah.
400,000 shares right now into the close for NVDA. So yeah, man, definitely a spicy one. Congratulations, anybody that took the risk on that one. It's a spicy meatball.
No question about it. If you took that off of VWAP, I think sometimes you get that opportunity at 350 where you know it's likely to move and you can play it with a tight stop. It's kind of like being in position going into 350. It's almost like a free roll because you're going to make some kind of a move 9 times out of 10 on an in-play stock. I got out, tightened up the stop on Intel. I also got the bid, as I mentioned, on Plug. That did move. And then, of course, because sometimes it be like that, I had to stop, ticked it by 1 cent, and then the imbalances come out and AMD makes the run. It is what it is. Like, that's going to happen to you, but it's 350. That is a rule every single day that we trade, or at least, well, actually most of us do it, right? 350, a lot of times you're thinking about where's my stop placement, where am I moving it to, want to be trying to exit positions, don't want it to break to the downside, because the opposite could have happened. If I don't have a stop there, it could have made that same move in the other direction, and then you're just holding a bag going into the close. So, if you held on to it, fair enough, it fits your parameters, but there's almost no way to know it. The entire balance was 236 million to buy.
Yeah, it was nothing.
So that's the definition of nothing. That's a very, very small overall imbalance, not going to move the needle. If it gets us through 16,000, then it's because we were going there anyways. You know what's interesting? Mm-hmm. And I feel like part of this has to do with NVIDIA. I don't think we talked about Tesla once this afternoon. I don't know if we did. Have you ever heard of Tesla? Tesla's up 2.5% in a down market, and I don't think it came, and I don't think I saw anybody mention this in the chat.
I didn't trade it today either.
So Tesla is up a bunch. I didn't trade it either, but look at it hold strength on a day where the market was weak. It broke out this morning, and it just simply held the line at the top. So 240 has been support all afternoon. I'm not going to trade Tesla with 7 minutes to go, but this bears mentioning. We always look what was relatively strong, what was relatively weak, especially on a day where the market's down. I want to know what was up and what was holding that strength into any signs of weakness. Well, Tesla got a bit of a reprieve. I don't know about the rest of the EV names. This chart doesn't look anything like the chart of Rivian, so you can throw that kind of a correlation out the window if there ever was one. But Tesla, back on the nice list. It was on the naughty list for a little bit, for a hot minute. But now for a couple of days in a row, like 3 days in a row, you've seen Tesla, big break off the bottom, consolidation off the same levels, another break, Maybe you consolidate for another day off 240 and the next stop. I mean, 250 is the big level recently, at least on the daily. Oh, Tesla also has a channel on it. If we get to like 260 up here, has been a series of lower highs. So if this stock breaks out of this channel, I'm all for it. We get a close above 260, then I want to be buying that sucker. Brendo.
There was a DOJ press conference that some of those Binance headlines was coming out of. That CZ headline, one of those. There's now a new CEO for Binance, guys, Richard Tang, just posting for the first time, I guess, on X right now about taking over for CZ. So yeah, the DOJ press conference was just wrapped up there.
You know what? There was some really interesting opportunities in BTC today. If you were trading this in terms of just volatility, like have a look at the wick at 37.5. Like that is a reversal candle off a key price level, consolidation short, nice drop, risk to reward. I mean, sometimes technical trading is just technical trading. More eventually, we're going to be getting crypto on the platform pretty soon. You can trade GBTC on the OTC markets. There's individual equities that you can trade, but eventually we are going to get this. And look, you see a technical setup. If it's the parameters and you have liquidity, you can put the trade on. Trading is trading. As long as you find yourself an entry, know where you're wrong, and have potential for a gain. 5 minutes to go. I'm going to assume I didn't really see a big spike in the futures one way or the other. So not really much. The Qs is a buy and balance. You don't see that very often. Cisco is a sell to 1 million, but nothing really that big. Let's see what Cisco's doing. We didn't really look at Cisco since the earnings. One day, and then we got away from it. I'm going to assume, yeah, it's still at $48.
Yeah, I was going to say 46 maybe. I laugh about that CZ stuff because it's like, you know, maybe it's his alias taking over. Like, I don't know, like some random guy's taking over, probably just set up a new Twitter account. Like, I don't have much faith in all this crypto stuff. Like, all of a sudden Kraken was supposed to be legit, then it's
his cousin.
gone, and then now it's his cousin. It's probably
I
his
made
third
that
cousin.
up, obviously.
No, we're all making it up, and it's just like, how do you trust anything? I'm just saying, hold your coins. I've already talked about this off. I asked Sam Bankman-Fried, and maybe we could even find that clip. Sam Bankman-Fried, I asked him live on this show about holding assets on or off exchange, right? And so I just feel like no matter what the players are in this, obviously crypto will move with more negative headlines, but I just think if you like Bitcoin and you like where crypto's going, this is all just noise. So, you know, stay in your positions or not, but just that's the noise. So obviously regulation is going to be a problem moving forward. And maybe it's not, and that's what we're trying to solve. So maybe it is a good thing after all that we keep getting all this back and forth, and eventually the dust will settle. So many guys have already made hundreds of millions of dollars, so let's just let everything settle down with crypto, and I think at some point it does. We are now out of AMC right there. The reason I had Rivian queued up was because it's at the low of the day.
Wow.
So in like heart attack savior of the morning, getting out of Rivian before the waterfall. And as TLC says, don't go chasing waterfalls right there.
You got to finish the line.
Yeah, because don't go chasing waterfalls.
Please stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to.
Don't go chasing, stick to the rivers and the what? Something else.
Rivers and the lakes that you...
Oh, lakes.
Yeah, you know, get it back.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Adair is singing over there.
So Adair and Sharif both love to sing, which is always a lot of fun. Sharif was on an 80s tip this morning.
I got it.
But why not? TLC, good group.
Love TLC.
Lost it. They got screwed bad, man. Like that. Let that be a lesson, man. Learn to, and this is not to single anybody out. Learn to at least understand. You don't have to manage your own money or be your own money, but understand the contracts that you sign. Understand how you're getting paid and who's in control of your money. You should always have a say in that. That cannot get taught enough. It's tragic anytime you see a story like that. But anyways, as there's 2 minutes to go, I only pulled up Lucid because I saw Rivian down 7%. I'm like, where the heck is Lucid at? Only 3% down on Lucid today. Rivian is in the you-know-what by itself. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. Fisker's down 14.5% and about to break $2 with 2 minutes to go. This is the dumpster fire. This stock has a 42% short float and still falling like an absolute rock on a daily basis. I'm not saying I'm going short this tomorrow, but why in the heck am I not even considering it? I didn't even look at this. I was looking at Rivian for the short this morning. I didn't even consider Fisker, which has been dropping it like it's, forget about dropping it like it's hot. This stock's just dropping it. It doesn't even matter. This is insane. 14% to the downside and still breaking down to $2 at the close. Where is the bottom on this thing? Where is the bottom on this? Where is the bottom on Polestar? Where is the bottom on everything but Tesla, Li Auto, and I mean, who's good in the EV space? Xpeng's not too bad, but with only a minute to go, I'm gonna leave it up. Obviously, there's one stock, and if you're not watching NVIDIA at the close, I'm not really sure what stock you're interested in watching. Maybe you own something else, but NVIDIA is the one to watch. We all know it. We're all gonna respect it. We'll see what happens. They're gonna report after the bell. You're gonna get it live with Sean over at the desk. 8% is the expected move from multiple sources, so I think that gives you a bit of a litmus that you can look toward, but anything is possible. We've seen more than double digits here, and I would not be shocked if we saw that again, but you know what time it is. It has been a wild and wacky day, which looked like disaster, but did bounce back. It's just it's a shame we ran into 16,000, but get the camera off me, throw it back over to Dancing Adara, who doesn't chase waterfalls, and let's get that countdown going. It's a countdown to NVIDIA earnings after the bell in 3, 2, 1, and ring it. And now the market is closed. So big shout out to, well, both Fabian and Ramin. We welcome Ramin back. She wasn't feeling well, but now she's feeling fantastic. All smiles over there. I see Ram. Sharif, I can't say enough about Sharif and Adara and the education that's being dropped, a lot of effort getting put into it. I think everyone's enjoying the learning. And it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you can always learn something new every single day, especially when it comes to trading. Just want to give a big shout out to Frank Caberno, one of our favorite guests. He pumped the market for a hot minute, but 16,000 is a big level. Even he couldn't do it. Thank you to Brennan, as always, for doing what you do. But let's get on over to the desk. Let's not waste a minute. You got NVIDIA earnings. It's about as big as it gets. The biggest earnings of the entire season at the desk right now with Sean.
All right, we're ready to lock and load here with NVIDIA earnings. I am going to have a live NVIDIA quote up on the side of the screen for you just as we go here on my main screen. So when they flip over to it, you'll be able to see it. Unfortunately, it's not. It's going to be right here. So I'm just going to keep this up. This is the live level 1 bid right now of NVIDIA. So we'll have that up right now. So if you guys want to see what's going on, it will be in the corner. And this is NASDAQ book, so on and so forth. So I just want to keep that up. We will go over everything because it's not just all about NVIDIA. It's about the market. And welcome to here. Traders, stay late. And I want to thank you for watching this recap show. One more time, we have Brian Shannon coming. It's going to be a big one as per usual. Congratulations anybody that took that Travis Kelce anytime touchdown prop last night. That was pay dirt there as the Kansas City Chiefs really kind of did not show up at all in that second half. So we'll wait to see what happens in the rest of the NFL season. But good day today for silver. Silver up 1.4%. Let's go over and start talking about the recap. It's the largest one today. It's SLV followed by GLD, so gold and silver, as everything turns into precious metals, as Brennan goes to the jewelry store to buy. So it's Christmas time. So that's coming through. Actually, I get away with it because my daughter, she's happy with that costume jewelry. So right now it's all good. You can get 10 pairs for $5 or something like that. So shout out to Ardeen and everything like that right now. You got to have a couple good pairs, but the costume is nice. Okay, here's NVIDIA right now, 502, starting to go with NVIDIA. Not out yet, but just giving everyone a little bit of an attention to that one. What goes up must come down. We've had a good little run there in the KRE, but we keep on talking about it, bouncing its head off the 50-period moving average. Oh, welcome to the show, by the way. We've got Benzinga Pro right now, so any sort of a moment hit right here. There's Autodesk. Autodesk is out now. Autodesk beats right now, 207 versus 199. So that's going to be a good one. Sales beating on Autodesk. Let's have a quick look to see what happens with ADSK as we speak. So we'll call this up. I'm going to go a 1-minute chart so we can see live. There's Autodesk. Congratulations. It looks like it's going to be a good one. Autodesk right now. Here's the 1-minute chart over here, and here's the daily. So we're bumping up into support. Sorry, this would be resistance. 234. Look out for a short there on ADSK as we will wait to get some updates. What is Autodesk going to talk about moving forward? But we've talked about used cars. We've talked about car parts as well. Looks like Autodesk making that move back up to the upside as, hey, what was bad is now good. Autodesk kind of just chilled out for a very, very long while. Look at the support down there, 195, 194. Nice move up for ADSK, but look at it bouncing its head against 225. So it's got to stay longer above that. Here it is right here. Here's the guide right now. So Autodesk sees Q4 EPS. Ooh, that's not good. Watch out for the fade in Autodesk. They see it 191, 197 versus 201. Not good. They're also guiding lower on estimates for sales revenue, but it doesn't seem to matter right now. I'd go short here on Autodesk. I don't want to talk about pre-market or post-market plays because, again, liquidity, but right into there, 225, you're bouncing its head. Maybe give it a little bit of room to 230, but watch out there on a bad guide for Autodesk. So sees 191 to 197 versus 201. Okay, so that's ADSK. Let's keep that on our mind as we go. TAN. Talked about this yesterday with Michael Noss, looking at some bottoms. Oh, we got to look at the bottom here for a daily chart for TAN. He was using monthly, I believe, to go back on this one, looking at some potential bottoms here for TAN. Also, this top right here is where we're at right now, 48. So area of concern for TAN. Watch out for a break below $40 on this one. Invesco Solar ETF making the move down on UNG. My eye's still going, guys. Here it is again for ADSK, Autodesk. Sees FY24, 743 to 749. So that's a little bit better now. So a little bit adjusted here for FY moving forward. So that was their Q4 adjusted. Here's their forward forecast. So my mistake. Looks like they're about in line right now with everything. And actually the revenue is guiding higher. So I'll take that back. I thought they were doing Q3 right now, but it looks like they're coming out with Q4 for ADSK and guiding forward. So just be careful. But again, not a huge guide. Autodesk right now bouncing off that 224. So I'm excited. Here's NVIDIA on the side. Anybody waiting to see NVIDIA, watch this 501 right now. If that starts going crazy, we're going to be all over that. Pullback today. We shorted AMD today. Those were good shorts right off the jump, right? SMH taking out highs and making new highs for SMH. So let's watch out here as excitement builds for NVIDIA. Look at AMD though today, red causing this 1.5% to the downside. AMD was a great trade and I'll show you it. Here, let me just show you what we did on AMD earlier today. We were a little bit nervous Nancy on this one because it was a little tricky. We noticed it was down. We had to play this pop before the drop. So again, my number one trade today was AMD and it was holding. And then look, covering at about 1030. Tried the short again against 118.50, didn't work, got out of the way as AMD finishes the day with some higher lows being put in. Boom, 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 all the way up, sort of stair-stepping into 119. So let's watch out for AMD coming through. It looks like we have an out for JWN right now. Nordstrom's seeing a nice tick down here into $14. Watch out for the short float here on Nordstrom's. Let's call that up so we can exactly see it. JWN right now, they are out, so it's Nordstrom's coming out right here. Q3 EPS 25 cents. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here, let you guys read it. Up from 20 cents. So that's good. Q3 sales 3.32 down from 355. So sales looks a little bit light. Earnings looks a little bit, so it's a one for one. I don't want to say heavy on earnings, but it says Q3 EPS. See, they're Q3, right? Autodesk has to be Q4. Q3 right there, 25 cents up from 20. So that looks good. Quick little look there. There it is. Here we go. FY23, this is what we're looking at. Revenue decline, so not good, 4 to 6% coming to the downside. And we talked about them winding down their Canadian operations. Sorry about that for my wife. She hated the fact that she could no longer go to Nordstrom's. For me, I don't mind that she can't shop there anymore, but there it is, Nordstrom's with the move down right there, $14.29. I actually bought a lot of nice things at Nordstrom's as well. I find like for clothes, and here's like a little bit of a rant, like as you get older, it's like I don't actually wear that many things. Like I I have track pants for my girls rep team. I have track pants for my boy hockey team as well. I wear those when I get home. Switch it over, some nice hoodies. I got a Trade Ideas hoodie. Well, I got lots of clothes, but anyways, better quality stuff. I like Nordstrom's. But I shop at the Gap and like Old Navy and things like that for like kids' summer clothes because they go through that, and then sizing obviously. But my kids are now, like my girl just got those little rain boots. I think they're Uggs. I don't even want to talk about it. They're Hunters. She has both, dude. Where's my mic? Where did my mic go? Here's the mic. Mic drop. You know, like I'll drop the mic all the time, but not here, not on purpose right there. Sorry about that. Anyways, I was talking about Nordstrom's and what my kids just keep buying all this crazy clothes. But anyways, there goes Nordstrom's. Hey, I just want to thank everybody right here. Who's here right now? Let's do a quick little roll call for all of this because I just want to thank everybody. Thanks for putting up with me, man. Sometimes that mic does come down. Nordstrom's right now, 190 versus 210. Good number for Nordstrom's, I thought it looks like. Yo, what's up? Here we go. Everyone's going crazy right now. Thank you so much for joining, man. Who's all here? We have over 4,000 watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's get over 1,000 right now. Yo, what's up to Hans? What's up to everybody? Wow, I got to slow this down. This is success is inevitable. What's up? Shout out to you. I love that name. Success is inevitable. Believe in it, guys. Believe in success. Put in the work and it will come. Thank you for hitting the love button. I love that. I'm going to hit it myself. I love all of y'all. 100, 100, 100. Right now, what's up to Raymond? What's up to Paul Kennedy? What's up to Cindy B? Number 777. Who's going to hit number 1,000? You will win a shout out. Argentina, what's up to Patrice right there? What's up to Sharif's mom? Hey, Sharif's mom, never met you, but thank you for coming in the chat as well. Streamlabs, Adam, everybody's here, but hey, we will do this with everybody near the end of the show. Daryl's here, Daryl Flinch is here. Saskatchewan, I love Saskatchewan. I've been to Saskatoon. Shout out to Saskatoon. I actually helped open up a Day Trade the World office in Saskatoon as we wait out for NVIDIA right now, 500 right now for NVIDIA. Here's JWN making that move. ADSK, let's check out Autodesk one more time. Nice move up to 225 as traders stay late and you guys stay late with me. So let's go over sector recap again. IBB, okay, been beat up. Obviously rate sensitive here for IBB, the biotechnology. It comes more expensive, right? You got to be careful with this. I love this sector. I think you want to buy some dips, possibly miss that opportunity down here near 110. We'll see if we can pick up some IBB again, a very interest rate sensitive, because a lot of these companies don't make money in biotech, right? So you have a debt aspect to your name. So watch out for that. OIH today, we hadn't talked about oil too much. It's not about OIH for me, it's about USO. USO up 0.32. So we are excited to quickly have Brian Shannon on today. We won't talk too much about oil. We'll probably look at NVIDIA and anything he wants to talk about. I haven't had a chance to look at his stream today, so I'm not sure what he wants to talk about, but hey, he's a professional. We'll throw him the floor. SPY, nice move today, just breaking even on the day. Well, it was down 0.32, but still holding some of those highs as the NASDAQ trying to climb back up two highs. NASDAQ right there, down 0.6. I still think that the semis are controlling everything right now. Meta with a nice move up. And look at Apple. Hey, Apple, I thought you had a bad quarter. Apple all the way down there to 166. What? That was 166. Wow. That's a surprising move up to 190 in my opinion. I didn't think they had a great quarter, but we talked about their wearables. Their wearables, we actually had our podcast, go watch our podcast. Their wearables with Apple, more revenue right now than Starbucks, than McDonald's comes through. That's just their wearables department. I know Neil mentioned selling BAC. I thought he mentioned Warren out of BAC. Not at all. Just double check on that one. Look at JP Morgan. This was a surprising one for me, man. Huge upside on JPM right now coming back. So that puts me to XLF. Again, another one. Look at buying these dips. Now, we had JC Peretz on last week, Thursday, and he's like, I heard him say, if you don't love technology, you're an idiot. He didn't say that on our show, but he said that on his stream. And he was not talking about specifically being an idiot. Just look at what's been happening with the Qs. The XLF, though, right now, picking up some steam as well. I feel like you are not exposing yourself properly. I know this could get nasty real quick, but you have to be exposed to all of the sectors, right? And so whether or not you're underweight technology or not, if you're invested in the SPY, NASDAQ names have carried the SPY forward, and that's just technology names, including Microsoft and Apple, now the two top components in the S&P 500. So just watch out for that. I think we're getting a little top heavy. Maybe we'll talk about it. With NVIDIA momentarily out, we are going to call on Brian in just a couple seconds. Let me know when he's ready. But I do have to apologize to him in advance. If you're listening, Brian, earnings are going to come out, and we're going to have to talk about NVIDIA ASAP. So, all right, without any further ado, it's my favorite segment with one of my favorite guys. Unfortunately, Brian, I can't find your book. It's somewhere around here. But let's bring him on. It's Brian Shannon. Okay, oh, I got to center myself here. Okay, Brian, welcome back. You were here on another big earnings day. I can't remember were you here last? No, not last NVIDIA earnings. It was something else, but we're all really excited for it, as I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, I've got it here on my screen looking. We're trading up over 500 right now, but it doesn't look like they've come out. It's a pretty too mild a response so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to you, Sean, and the semiconductors, absolutely, they have been the leaders, and they have driven the NASDAQ higher as well. That's what's keeping them in the lead. The semis are keeping the NASDAQ in the lead, and we're about to get those earnings, as you mentioned. The key level, I think, if we sell off, in my mind, is down here at about 470, 460. What is that? Actually, about 467. So I shouldn't eyeball those. I should take a look. That's the anchored VWAP from the low that we had just rallied from over here.
Brian?
I think that is the likely place we'll see if we get a flush.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, how specific are you? Like you just sort of said they're 467 in change. When you have a $500 name like NVIDIA right here, and I know we're on you right now, Ramin's going to try to flip it back. Thank you, Ramin. Those levels, are you talking about maybe buying some of those dips? Or I know you and I have talked about this before, but we have new viewers on. That's just an area where you're looking for potential support. We don't necessarily stand in front of those levels to catch those falling swords. Am I learning, Brian?
You got it, exactly. It's a level of interest. A lot of people, used to refer to these things as, hey, there's support there.
Right.
We don't know where support is. Support's only known after the fact. So we look at levels, and this is what you would do all day, is look at the levels and say, I'm trading against this level. I'm trading against the VWAP, like your NVIDIA short this morning. So we look at it and say, here's a level of interest. What does that mean? It means while I'm looking at it on a 30-minute time frame and at a daily time frame, I wouldn't go in there and just stick a bid in. To me, that's to use JC's words, you'd have to be an idiot to do that. So the point is, it's a level of interest. What do we want to do then? Well, if it gets down there, then we start to look at shorter term timeframes. We'll start to look at a 2-minute time frame, and we'll look at maybe a 1-minute time frame, and get some precision and look for some evidence that the buyers are actually showing up at that level, and it starts to bounce from there, and to participate at that level. And then, of course, manage risk and say, let's say it bounces from 464.27, 2 points below that level of interest. It's still close enough to be a general area. And we've got that 20-day moving average in there as well. And the 20-day moving average, it's good to look at where it is, but today the 20-day moving average went from 454 and a half to 457.70. So it rose $3.50. So that means it'll probably rise approximately the same tomorrow, because we're getting rid of this data from 20 days ago. So it's not in other words, the 20-day moving average will look like this tomorrow morning, regardless of what the stock really does, because we're getting rid of data way down here.
Wow. Great analysis right there, right now. We just got HPQ out, Brian. So come over to my screen right here, Ramin, if you can.
Yeah.
Here goes HPQ, downside a little bit right now. Again, right sector, looks like the wrong name. EPS 90 cents, up from 85. Looks like not a great guide. But again, like look at this stock, down HP, symbol HPQ, coming back in. Downside right now, looking to bounce off this 25. Like, so right there, you're coming into a level. You could see HP comes down into 26.50 right now. Another possible area of, as you said, let's not call it support, but in this situation, I believe that we have a little bit of data that goes all the way back into actually a year ago today, this quarter, back down into $24, $25 as we continue to wait. Okay, just about trading. So like I'm always net long in my sort of retirement account. Who knows? I feel like I'll be maybe never retire at this point, but the idea is I stay net long regardless of what's happening. I have trimmed a little bit into earnings calls like this. Is that something, and I know that, you know, often what we're talking about right here is day trading, swing trades, in and out of positions, but do you ever, you know, hold anything maybe for an extended period of time, and then do you trade around earnings, or are you just simply looking at price action and will deal with it after the report?
Second question first, deal with it after the report.
Okay.
I have no interest in gambling. I have no idea. I mean, you know, news and surprises tends to follow the direction of the trend. That's why a stock like Hewlett Packard, it shouldn't be a surprise that it sells off. It's below a declining 50 and 200-day moving average. So the trend was already lower there. In the case of NVIDIA, the trend is higher, but we have to consider that we've just rallied from 390 to 500.
Yes.
So where has it come from? It's a little bit extended here. So I don't want to do those gambles, Sean. And to answer the first question is, I'm not a good investor. I'm a swing trader primarily. I'd say first, I'm best at swing trading, second at day trading, and a long distance from there would be investing. But I do have some S&P 500 exposure for long term that I really try not to look at. Man, when it drops 10%, I feel like an idiot. There it goes, 506.
Yeah, you know what? We have it up live right here, the live level 2 right now from NVIDIA, 507, 505. Are we out on NVIDIA right now? I have Benzinga Pro loaded up right now, sponsoring the show. I don't see it, but it is dramatically moving right now. There's NVIDIA. We just hit the high of 505. Last earnings report, we hit the high of 509. There it is. We are now out with NVIDIA. So there it is, 494 coming back in. Let's go find out what it is. Give me a second here, Brian. 490, there it is right now. Q3 beats. Wow, what a surprise. We beat and the market goes down. 402 versus 336 right there. Estimated sales, 18 billion in sales. Geez, what is going on? Versus 16. Well, I'll tell you what's going on with NVIDIA. It is getting woodshedded, and not Kathy woodshedded. Where does she come in and buy in? There it is. It is a move down as we start to get excited. Ciao, Bella. There goes NVIDIA. Now, the level that you mentioned, Brian, 470. Here we go, Brian. It's Brian's world, and we are all living in it. This is a big move to the downside. It is 474, 475. Brian, I have no idea after broadcasting for 6 straight hours where we get this energy, but there it is. It is bouncing right off your level. That is your level, Brian. 470. You just gave everyone an $8 winner right there. It's Brian Shannon. But what do you think about this action? I need to take a drink of water.
It is amazing you have all that energy after so many hours, Sean. I didn't buy it there. As I said, it's a level of interest to me. I don't need to stick in the bid. And, you know, if people did, that's fantastic. There was a nice bounce there so far. I suspect we'll probably trickle down. And, you know, this might be a good excuse for the market to settle down a little bit. We've had such huge gains here recently. I mean, looking at the month to date, the semiconductors month to date up 16.92%. For, you know, through the end of the day today. That's just those are, you know, not moves that can sustain themselves. So a little bit of profit taking is normal on something like this, and I don't think it does anything to ruin the trend, the longer term trend of NVIDIA or probably the semiconductors either.
I'm speechless because, Brian, Honestly, man, I mean, you just absolutely nailed that. I want absolutely everybody to understand Anchor VWAP and some of that stuff that you were just showing, because honestly, that 470, and I know, you know, you're being humble about it. It was just a level of interest for you and everything like that. But for me, it's all about the education, right? And I think it is for you as well. Showing people, you know, where potentially we could go to if we do have these moves. Can we just call Brian's? Do you have that chart up again? Look at that. Go over to Brian's screen right now. I mean, honestly, that's 470. We talked about this 10 minutes ago, and then we just bottom wicked. If you come over to my screen, right, well, you have it up right there anyways. There's 470, and you can see at the right, you're trading at 489.85 right now. So what a great bounce spot. Can you just one more time, just for anybody to understand where you put that? Obviously, I can see where you did, but why the Anchor VWAP is different, and potentially why you placed it where you did, because Brian, man, you absolutely nailed that. Goated, my friend.
So the Anchor VWAP is the price, the volume weighted average price from an event. We had an event. We had a major reversal right over here. We spoke, I think last week, Sean, maybe the week before, about how everyone was talking about the head and shoulders pattern in NVIDIA, and that while the primary trend was still higher, that was most likely a trap, and it ended up being a trap. It got people short. It got people out of their longs. So when we had that failed move lower on this day, we saw a fast move higher, and that's the average price from that point. That's where the buyers last took control. So we want to measure the sentiment from that place. Excuse me. You don't send out a poll to everyone who is involved and say, are you bullish or bearish? Instead, you say, here's the average price. And now people felt locked out of that. I spoke about that in my weekend video, that people are calling this the lockout rally because they've been waiting for a pullback and waiting for a logical place to buy. Well, the average price from that event was the logical place for buyers to emerge who felt like they missed out on this big rally in NVIDIA. And sure enough, that's where they are. So we get those insights based on price, volume, and time, not just price and time. Volume tells us the average participant and how they're positioned.
I just want to show you right into here, man. I mean, let's come over to my screen quickly, Ramin. Right here, buying his book, great call. What's going on? Absolutely fantastic. So you are getting a heck of a lot of love. So here it is right here. Thank you. We found it. It's right here. It is Anchored VWAP. Go make sure you check it out for sure. It's Brian Chen and CMT. It's Alpha Trends. And I feel like we become good friends. So I can't wait for the next time that we're in each other's town, man. Let me buy you a drink, because this is absolutely fantastic. I know that I've definitely learned a lot. Go pick it up. Brian, thank you so much, man. You just absolutely nailed that. I've got goosebumps, as I'm sure a lot of our viewers do as well. Good luck with everything, and we will. Hey, where'd he go? I'm not. Hey, there he is. Good luck with everything. We'll see you hopefully next week. It's Brian. Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care, Sean. Thanks.
All right. Hey, man, that's Trader Talk. Wow. I have met my equal. But no, thank you so much for that, Brian. Wow, absolutely amazing, man. And here it is right here, just again. I follow this guy, Gergivan. I mean, he's from, well, anyways, it says Toronto. I have no idea who it is, but very, very easy to read, man. NVIDIA Q3 beat all over the place with NVIDIA. So again, huge move to the downside. We can review it with Benzinga here for sure. Let me just go find out. We'll keep it up. We have the stock right here so everybody can see it. NVIDIA expects, here we go. This is what we're talking about. We talked about this. This is some of the stuff that the algos read, right? So expects to see data in China and China countries, groups, D1, D4, D groups to decline significantly. So that probably got picked up there, right? That's a nice move back in. There it is right here. I did see a correction here. Here it is right here. So what are they correcting? Q3 data center revenue up 41%. These guys aren't even supposed to be in data centers. Up 41% right there. So shout out to Intel and AMD in that one. Gaming revenue, what? Okay, so like we don't even talk about gaming. up 15%, just up a paltry 81% year over year. Let's go, NVIDIA. We're going to see this one moving around. Uh-oh, here we go. Everyone's favorite, including Sharif's, Jensen Wang, right here. NVIDIA GPUs, CPUs, networking, Foundry, service. I love when they say Foundry because that's also what Palantir is called, right there, Foundry. Services and NVIDIA AI Enterprise Server are all growth engines in full throttle. Okay, so again, no problem with the growth, just warning of significant, I mean, I'm just reading you what this says right here. That's HPQ. Significant decline in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2024. So that's what we're in right now, fiscal 2024. So no, moving a lot forward here. So we'll wait to see then what that means. That seems like that's very, very forward looking right there. So we'll dive into this. That's not what the show's all about right now. Wow, there it is, right back to highs. Like, this is why we bring on these guests. We talk about true traders stay late. Look, you can watch CNBC, I believe that's what the station's called, other stations. They have random talking heads on right now. They're not looking at 470. You find me someone that went live 10 minutes before that said we could bounce at 470. That's literally the bottom right there. So we'll just go boom with breaking news, because breaking news, we gave you that level here at Trader TV Live. Shout out to Brian, man. I'm not going to sit here and take credit for that one. But real sees real, and I see you, Brian. That was a good one, man. Thank you so much once again for suggesting that. Wow, what a great, fantastic show. What's the next topic? AMD. I don't even care about these trades of the day anymore. I am just impressed with what we've been doing. Let me just go over to Roblox, because let's do it anyways. Trade of the day for Roblox. Blah, blah, blah. We went short. It went down. It was a good trade. Wow. But no, this is another trade that I learned from Brian, honestly. I'm going to make him buy me a drink, actually, all this promotion that I'm doing. But look at this. Look at this move right there. So here it is. This is VWAP, this blue line, right? Here's the gap down. When there's a gap, wait for VWAP. We knew we wanted to short there in Roblox. Trade the weak names to the short side. We did it. We actually got nervous and got out of some right there. Not much. The market was ripping. We touched the 50 period, so that made me nervous. But we did fade back, and then we started just capturing profit after that. Like, we were almost stopped out there, which is why we started capturing profit for flat. Then once we realized it, getting some back out, and then there's the cover right there at 45 for about 50 cents. Nice trade there on Roblox coming back in. That's the trade of the day for that. And then AMD. I'm sorry that like this is boring, but here again, we knew we wanted to short the semi today, especially AMD. Weak name. NVIDIA was dancing around that 5 bills. We shorted this. This was my number one P&L trade to go. Was that 530, 430, whatever time it is? All right, man. Wow. One last check-in on NVIDIA. I just want to thank everybody for being here. We are going to do the roll call, but let me just call up NVIDIA one more time for you. Struggling with it. There it is, right here. Okay, why isn't it loading up? Well, that's why it's on the other screen. All right, so NVIDIA, one more check. I just want to see, because this is a good platform for that. So there's the daily coming back up into 5 bills. So let's now look at a 1-minute chart. As you can see, it's on the bottom as well. NVIDIA climbing. This could be a good short tomorrow. I mean, the news is out. They had a great quarter. They beat on revenues, check marks everywhere, beat on EPS, beat on revenue. For some reason, it dropped right to 470. I have no idea who called that. Nice move back up to the upside. Congratulations to everybody. But hey, we wouldn't be here without everybody. So quickly on a roll call. I do want to thank 100%. I want to thank Bears versus Bulls, because without this guy, man, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the Q&As, which maybe tomorrow I'll do a Q&A before. Oh, by the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If I'm unable to say that tomorrow because I forget, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We're off on Thursday. The Packers play at 12:30, so we'll be watching some of that. And then we've got a couple big hockey tournaments here for the week, so I'm off on Friday, but it's only going to be a half day. A big shout out to everybody here. We are going to do roll call in 1 second, man. Super chats, man. Another flow? I'm down with another flow. OJ's white Bronco, man. I like that. I like the new Broncos for sure. Native Warrior, Nick W. here. Yorumu. Tisha, thank you so much. You're always super chatting. Lauren Rogers, a.k.a. not Aaron Rodgers. Corey 2S, Trader Joe, Phil McCracken. Can't believe I just said that. Nick Garcia, Miss C, and Cynthia. Thank you so much for everything. But who's here right now? That's the most important thing. Hey, let's get those likes going, man. Let's hit the like button right now if we can. We've got over 1.1K. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over 3,000 watching. Make sure you watch every single day, man, as we repurpose this recap show. So right after this, Ramin and Fabian put in so much work. We put it out as its own stream, okay? So you'll re-see it and it'll have like 100 or 200 likes, but that's the reload. So thank you so much for liking what we're doing right now. All right, here we go, man. I'm going to put a little bit of a wave out here as well on the chat. Wave, wave, wave to everybody. We're here. But who else is here? That's what's more important, not who's here. I'll stop this. Gorilla Fish, Bull Shark Trader. Patrick is here. Y Brothers, man, thank you so much. You're always on the show. Sam is here as well. Let's see who else is here. Pranya, thank you so much. D. Westermeyer, man, the People's Trader. It's another one. You're right about that coming through. Deez is here as well. Chef Rico. Hey, Chef Rico. Chuck of all trades. We like that. Joseph, Mike, Jeff, everybody. Chris, Ann Stack is here. Juan Padilla is here. Jennifer Schultz, thank you so much. Hey, you're welcome. There's a thank you for the Kelsey TD. You're welcome. And I'll have another play for you for the Thursday games. Right, that's right. Lots of games coming through. Look, no matter where you are, I want to say thank you to you for watching, man. Traders Stay Late. You've made this show what it is. We're coming with energy. We're coming with guests every single day, and we feel pretty good about it. So join me tomorrow at 8:30. Hopefully this voice will recover a little bit. We're going to be here early tomorrow, so get ready to rock and roll with us. It's 8:30 at Trader TV Live. I'm not going anywhere, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening, everybody. Ciao.